Powers of power.
Debates. Open your minds.
Powers of power. Powers of power. Powers of power.
And so a community is where you control your police, you control your commerce, you control your education, you control your house. We don't control none of that. We live in a hood. Huh? Well, what about the Negroes that get out? Oh, well, see, my cousin, they say he's a multi-millionaire, almost got $1 billion.
The Popular Thought Series.
3 PhDs, working on 2 more. Driving down the street in Chicago in his Rolls Royce, enjoying himself, and he hears these sirens and looks through the mirror and sees this cop car flashing lights. He squeezed the steering wheel, man. Heart beats fast. Because he knows the price of a Negro, what it could be. And then when that cop car passed him by, he said, thank God he wasn't after you in the first place, punk. That Negro thing you can't get away from. It's universal. They wasn't coming after you. With all your millions, with your Rolls Royce, with your PhD, didn't help. That's the hood. Huh? Why do you think you never pick up a paper or TV over and over and see white families? You think it's thousands of black cops in America. Why don't you see white families crying as black cops shot my loved one 40 times in the back of the head? Why do you think black cops are that? You think they're more spiritual? Think they're better? No! They got enough sense to know that white folks ain't gonna tolerate it. And I will stop in our neighborhood when we decide we will not tolerate it. Now, if we was organized, which is hard to organize people who are just gonna run crazy and you don't know you're crazy. But if we were, with the money we have, and the many people who would come to our aid that don't know what it's like to be a Negro, and if we said, look, we saying, if we don't get a federal law to deal with police brutality, that any time a cop or anybody carry a gun, have to have a license, just like you used to drive a car. And if you use it wrong, then you'll lose your license. And if it's upheld, you can never work again as a cop or a store guard or a private detective. How do you get Congress to push that through? Well, you take your economic power and you call on your friends, black, white, young and old, and say, this coming Christmas, if we don't have a federal law to outlaw police brutality by law, then we call them for a nationwide boycott of Christmas and start on Thanksgiving. Well, let me tell you what that means. 79% of all retail in America happens between Thanksgiving and Christmas. People stay in business all year, lose money just for Christmas, huh? Well, what happens now? Sack Fifth Avenue, Toys R Us, Sears and Roebuck, Westinghouse. They will get the bill, and all they got to do is make one phone call and say, Harry, that's the senator, I want that bill pushed through in 3 days. Okay, it's an economic thing. It's that simple. But we have the power, but the system has wiped us out so bad.
Powers of power. Powers of power. Powers of power.
San Antonio, Lincoln 6. Go ahead. Clear suspect down 10-4. 10-4. The officer's code 4. We have one suspect that's been shot.
Open your minds. And we are back. Peace, folks. Welcome back to the Proper Thought Series right here on the old T.P.O.T YouTube page. Of course, I'm your host, X, but y'all knew that already because you was at the last show. So yeah, we about to throw down again. Brother D.DERRELL will be back, and he's taking on all challenges, folks. He's taking them all on. Brother D.DERRELL says he wants all the smoke tonight. So yeah, he says he wants all the smoke tonight. So y'all know what to do. If you want to face off with Brother D.DERRELL on the D.DERRELL challenge, hit me up on my email. It's propertothought@yahoo.com. It's propertothought, one word, no caps, at yahoo.com. But we're not going to go through what we went through last show, because what we're going to do this time around is we're going to have this thing here. Yeah. We're going to have this thing here. All right. Because this thing here has a tendency to just make things better for some reason. Brothers respect a clock for some reason. So, yeah, we're going to go ahead, man. And let me see. I already sent D.DERRELL the link. So this is how we do it, y'all. Y'all know how we do it. We let the brother come up here, lay down whatever premises he has to lay down. And then after he does that, he will be taking on whatever challengers that may be waiting in the audience. But y'all know how we do it. Y'all been here before, man. But, you know, I appreciate y'all, man, coming back. I appreciate y'all being here. You could have spent your damn Friday night doing anything, and you decided to be here with us. It is appreciated, man. I don't take you good folks lightly. I never have, and I never will. But I will jump on your ass if you don't hit the goddamn like button. I will jump on your asses if you do not hit the goddamn like button, Negroes. All right? Come on. Hit that goddamn like. Y'all know I like those jokers to match. So, being that Brother D.DERRELL is not here yet, I want to go ahead, man, and, you know, play some of my promos that I have. I haven't played my promos in a while. So, just sit through it, and hopefully by the time we get through with all these commercial breaks, D.DERRELL will be here. Hopefully, Brother D.DERRELL will be here. So, I will see y'all on the other side of the breaks.
Open your mind. Hey guys, T.P.O.T. on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. But you knew that already.
Heard the voice. You know the name. You've waited long enough. Little Big Nate has arrived, and it's on. Let's go.
Peace, folks. Open your mind. Wednesday, we throw down in the digital square circle on Hours of Power debates. Thursday, we get at it with DXL, Dark Exodus Live. So come through, 9:30 p.m., right here on the T.P.O.T. YouTube page. You know. Peace, folks. This is Teacher Tanisha. You're listening to the T.P.O.T. Media YouTube page. You know. Now back to the show. You know.
And Brother D.DERRELL has arrived. Brother D.DERRELL, what's good with it, man?
What's up, brother? What's up?
Well, you know how we do these challenges. You go ahead and lay out a premise because you already got challenges in my email.
I already got challenges already.
In my email. So
Oh, really?
go ahead, lay out your premise, and I'll commence to, bringing them up.
Okay. Well, I'm going to assume the debate today is in somewhat indicative of the previous week when we were talking about the evidence of systematic racism and what sprung things to go into a different direction last week was when I gave pushback in regards to the existence of systematic racism, the apathy towards systematic racism, how it is implemented generationally. I talked about the economics of it as it relates to healthcare, as it relates to education, the criminal justice system or the prison industrial complex, even food, and so on. So I basically have given out a challenge in regards to those who are acting as if racism does not exist, and it is quite evident in our community, meaning the Black community, than any other community in this country, and it has been that way as long as we've been here. And does the Black community have a lot to clean up? Yes, it does. Are there a lot of things that we should be doing that we're not doing? That is true. Is there a large percentage of our population that is not engaging in productive activity as it relates to self-improvement, education, learning skills, and so on? Yes, it is. Do we engage in a lot of buffoonery in our music, religious wise and so forth? Yes, that is true. And a lot of those things to me are exclusive of racism in itself. But with that being said, that doesn't mean that there are certain things that are in place that hinder our ability to be successful. And racism and systematic racism is intended to do what it does, and that is create an atmosphere in which the majority culture has an advantage and we have a disadvantage. And particularly those that have tried to challenge me are going to come to the notion of, particularly in an individualized manner, that because you were successful, why can't everybody else be successful? That's a clear Black conservative talking point. And I'm not even a Black conservative. I'm actually a moderate. Are you going to say Black people have a crab in a barrel mentality? Then people are going to bring up stuff about all types of stereotypical things that Black people do that are in itself self-defeating, which I do agree. We do engage in a lot of self-defeating behaviors, but whether we engage in self-defeating activity doesn't mean that a system of racism and white supremacy doesn't exist. And so that's going to be the primary talking points of my particular argument today. And I understand there are going to be people who are going to come up with statistics and different things that they don't understand. And I'm going to clearly debunk those things, because if we're going to discuss numbers, if you're not, and I'm going to say this for anybody that wants to come up, if you're not willing to discuss statistics in its entirety, then we don't need to have a conversation. If you're just going to say, well, Black women are the reasons for feminism, and they said it's 75%. Okay, so what does that 75% mean in relation to what? What context? Could you please let me know how that data was gathered, how it was computed, what are the limitations, what were the results, what were the things that, contributed to that number? If you're not willing to talk about research in full scale, then we can't have a conversation. I'm willing to seek you out on whatever information you have and so on. But if you don't understand numbers, then we can't have a conversation. So that's pretty much my argument for tonight, and I welcome all people to come up. So I guess T.P.O.T still going. So I'm gonna just continue. So,
Oh, my bad. I had my microphone turned off.
Oh, okay.
As promised, my brother J.I. gets first crack, y'all. So let me bring him in. Brother J.I., what's good with it, man? Been a minute, my brother. Brother
Hey,
J.I.
what's going on, T.P.O.T? Can you hear me?
Yeah, man. What's good with it?
What's going on? Respect, T.P.O.T. D.DERRELL, you said what I said.
Hold on,
you said, but now
hold
you trying to
on,
say that
hold
you
on.
only said it.
Hold on. What are we doing? Are we debating or what's happening here?
No, first I want to clear up that he said that this place was for incels, and he said what I said. He said, but he's trying to say he only meant it in reference to the debate league, D.DERRELL. But I don't know what this stuff he's just talking about now with racism or whatever. I wanted to debate him on what we were debating when he told me that incel thing about this channel, which was the old guy marrying the younger girl. I thought we were going to be able to pose a debate with him. I didn't know he already had a debate topic lined up. I don't know nothing about what he's talking about racism.
So J.I., you're supposed to be an intelligent person, but you come in here talking about topics that are not relatable to the current topic. Can you please make that make sense?
All right, this is how it makes sense. T.P.O.T said that you were taking on all challengers and that you were taking on all comers. You just wanted the smoke.
Did I not give you a reference to what we're going to talk about?
Question. No, you did not.
Yes, I did. I just did so for 10 minutes.
Me, you have not talked just now. Not prior.
Brother, I just gave 10 minutes of what we were going to talk about. You didn't listen.
Did you not hear what I just said? You just did that just now. When I asked T.P.O.T for the link over an hour ago, I had not heard you say that. You're an idiot, D.DERRELL.
I just said it for 10. I just said it for 10 minutes. I just said it for 10. Why are you triggered, brother? Brother, why are you calling me an idiot? Why are you being offensive?
When I asked T.P.O.T for the link over an hour ago, I did not know what you were talking about.
But I just repeated it 10 minutes ago.
And what did I come in and say? When I was up here, what did I say? I said I did not know anything about what you just said. I wanted to.
So you should have asked the question. You should have asked me to review.
Channel.
You should have asked me. You should have asked me what I. You should. No, you're.
Do you not hear what you're saying?
Are you triggered? Are you triggered?
Do you not hear what I just said?
Why are you being feminine right now? Why are you acting feminine?
So
are you being effeminate right now?
Hold on.
What I just said.
I reviewed what the topic was going to be about, J.I. Yes, I did.
What I just said.
Why didn't you ask what the topic was, and I could have reviewed it with you? You chose not because you had an agenda. But go ahead, get your agenda.
No. There is
you have an
agenda. The whole thing was you were supposed to be taking on challengers like these other debates.
Yes, I do, and I gave and
you either accept or you deny.
Brother,
that is the premise.
T.P.O.T asked me, D.DERRELL, can you please talk about your talking points and what you want to discuss? Yeah, that's what I did. Didn't T.P.O.T do that?
Like I do everybody. So I mean, it's up to you whether or not you want to.
I was not.
It's up to you whether or not you want to debate him, D.DERRELL.
Okay,
you have the option.
J.I. Okay, so
because
J.I.
that topic that you brought up, I don't care.
J.I. Listen to me. If you want to talk about the same topic that I'm going to beat you at once again, let's go at it. Let's do it. Go ahead.
What is the same topic that you're going to beat me at again?
What's the topic?
I've always bodied you on financial abortion. So if you want to do that again, if you want to talk about the topic that we a continuation of on BMT's channel, let's do it. Let's go.
No, I'm not talking about the financial abortion. First off, you've never
we didn't
done it. Which is why
you listen, brother. Do you remember, brother?
Because you got mad that you didn't.
Okay, let's talk about the incel situation. Let's go. Let's get to it. I accept your challenge. Let's go.
I already brought that up. No, the debate that I was bringing you was you were saying that it was wrong for that man to marry the 19-year-old, and I said there's nothing wrong with it.
Let's talk
about
that.
That's where we left off.
Okay, let's talk about that.
Okay.
All right. This is okay. Y'all decided what we're going to debate, right? So this is how
he could have said that at the beginning.
Well, hold on.
I did say that at the beginning.
Well, hold on.
I came in and said that.
I need to lay the rules down because the rules are a little different for these short debates, these challenge debates. Instead of doing 7-minute opening statements, we do 4. I don't know why I got 5 up here. We do 4 for opening statements, and then we do 3 minutes on the rebuttal rounds, 2 rounds of that. Then we have 10 minutes of rapid fire. Then we have another 4 minutes of closing statements, and then we go to the polls. All right? That's
Sounds
how we
good.
do it.
Sounds good.
All right. So 4 minutes on the clock. Brother J.I., you are up,
Hold
sir.
on, hold on. D.DERRELL's supposed to be first because he's against it.
Oh, he's against this
Yeah,
whole
he's
thing.
against it. Yeah.
Oh, you're the negative. You're the negative,
Yeah,
right?
D.DERRELL.
Yes, I am the
He's gonna
negative.
talk
I am
all
the
about
negative.
Well, you go first. Brother D.DERRELL. 4 minutes
Okay,
on the
thank
clock.
you.
Opening
Thank you,
statement.
T.P.O.T.
Pull the trigger.
Okay, guys. So what I'm going to state in regards to an 18-year-old that married 80-year-old man. And so I'm looking at it as from the perspective as a father who has 2 daughters. And at this point, my 2 daughters are adult women. And from a position as a father, is no way, no shape and form that I would co-sign my daughters marrying a man that old. Okay? And so on. Now, I'm not going to come from the position of the Bible. I'm not going to come from a position of what is legal because it is legal. It is legal for a man to marry an adult woman. She is an adult woman. Okay. Now, from a common sense standpoint, and I'm just looking at common sense, is no man, no reputable man is going to allow a man of that age to marry his newly adult daughter, even though it's within her right. And if he has anything to do with it, I don't know too many men that will allow that to happen. Number one, you're placing your daughter in the hands of another man who, number one, is not going to probably treat her from an equitable standpoint. Now, it's none of my business in regards to what somebody does in their marriage, but if I'm going to give my daughter hand to somebody else, I want to put her in the best position where she can be happy and live a life with someone. I'm not strictly going on the fact that because you're older and established, you have so much money, that's the be all end all. No, it requires more than that. And no 80-year-old man has no business marrying somebody that's old enough to be his granddaughter. The optics of it looks horrible. I see a big contrast in their thinking, generational wise, and so forth. They absolutely have nothing in common outside of sex, if that is occurring. Um, she's going to put herself in a social awkward situation where people are going to be looking at her, staring at her, ridiculing her, and so forth. And the thing about it, but one of the biggest reasons why I'm against this is the sole fact that if he just didn't have a relationship with her at 18, he married her at 18, so there obviously had to be some level of a relationship or some level of interaction prior to her being 18. And that, to me, depending on the state, is against the law. And it looks very harmful, very, 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 very um negative for a man of that age to be talking to a minor that is not an adult. You just didn't wake up one day and a child makes 18 and you decide to marry her and she's pregnant for him months later. So that is the position that I'm coming from. I'm not coming from a position of religion because I'm not really a religious person, that so forth. I'm a spiritual person, but I do have a belief in God. I'm not going to come from a legal standpoint because it is illegal. I'm coming from my own morality and the fact that I don't feel like I would put my daughters, because that's the position that I'm speaking from as a father of 2 daughters, in the position to win outside of her being with a man that has no business being with a woman that young. From an economic standpoint, it only makes sense the fact that he's going to die and she's going to inherit everything that he has. Okay. And I don't think that was her intent to get married, to wait on somebody to die.
All right. 4 minutes on the clock. Brother J.I., you are up, sir. Pull the trigger.
All right. So he already seeded that it's legal. Number one. Now I want you all to pay attention to how these people lie to try to manipulate the story. And if it was really that bad, they would just tell the truth. The man is 63, okay, not 80. So he's trying to already paint the picture as more egregious than what it is. But my thing is, if it's already egregious, then just tell the truth about it. Okay, the man is 63 and the girl is 19. Now, he went on this whole little diatribe about what he thinks is right or wrong or whatever, what he wouldn't do for his daughters. Who cares? Nobody cares. The fact that he's trying to make it seem as if this man did something illegal, okay, trying to suggest that there was a relationship at an earlier age and all these things, trying to suggest that this man is some kind of predator, some kind of evil guy. This marriage is nothing about this took place in secret. In fact, this young woman's father gave her away to this man. Now let that sink in, because I know in this space, uh, people on D.DERRELL side, they don't have respect for that. All right, they think they know what's better for people, and not that person's actual father. I know D.DERRELL didn't have respect for anything like that. This girl's father gave her away to him. So that tells me one thing already automatically. That tells me that this relationship is not secret. This is not something, this is not a man that snuck around and, oh, meet me behind the church at midnight. Don't tell your parent. No, there was none of that going on. That tells me that this is an honest relationship, and that's all the blessing that I need. First off, even if he had not, it doesn't matter because she's legal age. I'm just driving this point home. She was given away by her father. So her father, I don't believe that we know more or what's better for her than her actual father, who raised her life. I don't believe that we can make those decisions. But this is what people like D.DERRELL and people of his camp will try to do. They will excuse away all manner of immorality and foolishness and make excuses for all kind of nonsense. But when you have a legitimate thing going on, see, they'll make a million excuses for baby mamas and why they doing this and why you shouldn't cry about child support and, oh, I'm weak for wanting financial abortion and all kind of that nonsense. But when an honest marriage takes place, an honest union takes place with the father's with the father's blessing, they try to find a problem with it. What this is family being created. All right. She's a younger woman. She's being married to an older man. They are going to form a family, and he has a legacy that he's going to pass on her that she's going to be able to carry on. This man is well established. This man is well to do, and this man is not treating her in any type of predatory way. This is honest, fair game. The woman's legal. Now, this is another one of those women don't have accountability type things. They can just do whatever they want. Arguments that they try to make. Oh, this man is a boogeyman, and because I wouldn't want to do it, then nobody should want to do it. It's wrong if anybody does it. It's a foolish argument. It's a weak argument. And again, D.DERRELL doesn't know better for that girl than her father does. He does not, and I do not believe that he does. So as he goes on to try to make these weak arguments of, oh, the age is too much and she's old enough, but none of that has anything to do with anything. People can love who they want to, as long as they're operating within the realm of the law.
All right, that's going to close our opening statement round. Now we go into the rebuttal rounds. They're only 3 minutes, so squeeze a lot in there in a short amount of time, brothers. All right, brother D.DERRELL, 3 minutes on the clock, my brother. This is the rebuttal round. Pull the trigger.
All right. Well, thank you for having me up once again. So I didn't know that we were discussing financial abortion and whether someone should do this. And I thought we were just going to stay just strictly on the topic. And I'm going to challenge my opponent to please stay within the topic of whether or not an 18-year-old, and with your correction, he's 63, whatever. Regardless of that age, a 63, 65-year-old man has no business marrying an 18-year-old girl. First of all, that's not my argument. My argument is that it is morally wrong. My argument is that we're not looking at the optics of it. It's shameful. And the fact of the matter is the fact that we're not putting this female in a position in which she's going to be in an equitable relationship. Okay. Now, my standpoint, and I'm going to say this, I don't know any men that raised me and in my environment that would agree to this. So I'm going to go by that. I'm not going to go by the fact that we're on an online community of people I don't know that come up with radical ideas that don't necessarily translate in real life. If 18-year-olds marrying 60-year-old men would be something that would be beneficial, and that would be something that would be highly effective in the longevity of the marriage and so forth, and that practice had a history of being effective, well, I would think the American people would actually practice that. It's a reason why men as a whole don't give their 18-year-old or 20-year-old daughters to men that are 40, 50, 60 years old. Okay? Because men understand how other men think, and it looks somewhat predatory. Now, my opponent discussed things in a manner in which we are in some way wrong to pontificate on how this man is predatory and he's doing things that in some way would be deemed more in a ineffective manner as it relates to a sexual predator in nature. But then he had nothing to say in regards to the fact that for someone that would criticize the father or criticize the fact that the church itself is okaying this. I'm looking at it from the totality of the situation as it relates to just a culture in which people are allowing their children to marry grown ass men. And it is wrong. If you're going to debate me on the fact that it's legal, that's not my argument. My argument is that if it was so effective and it's beneficial, why are people not practicing it? It's a reason why they're not practicing it.
All right. 3 minutes on the clock. Brother J.I., you are up, sir. This is the rebuttal round. Pull the trigger.
Yes, sir. So he keeps saying that there's a reason that they're not practicing it. Does he not understand that all throughout history, the norm has been for older men to marry young women? I mean, he always loves to say how educated he is and well read and all this nonsense and research. So he has to know that this marrying of within the age of whatever is a recent phenomenon compared to the existence of human beings on this planet. Okay, even as far back as the Bible, there's some accounts that Mary was 12 and Joseph was over 50. Okay, all throughout history, even in the history of this country, you don't have to go back far to see that the wedding age, there were people marrying a 14-year-old was commonplace. And they were married to older established men. This has always been the case throughout human history where young women would marry older men because the older men had the means to provide for those women. And again, the key word here, not that it matters, but is marriage. Okay? He keeps saying if there was some type of history of this stuff working, there is the entire history of the world. And even in the Black community, the problem with the Black community, one of the main problems I would say is the lack of family. You can't have family. Family and marriage are tied together. That's the whole point of marriage is for family. So the fact that she's marrying an older established man and going to make a family with an older established man, for him to say that there's no track record of that working is insanity and it's a lie. And notice how in the beginning he started, when I told him the age, he still tried to bump it up. Well, if he's 63 or 65, no, he's 63. Because they can't stick to the point. They have to try to make it seem worse than what it really is. But if it was really that bad, there would be no need for that. Just be aware of that, audience. And now again, he keeps falling back to the no man in my circle would agree to this, so blah blah blah. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Everybody has an opinion about something. Everybody has their own personal whatever. There's some people who wouldn't marry at all. So I mean, to say that, I mean, it has no bearing here. Who cares? That just means that the people in your social circle wouldn't do this. But for you to say that it's morally wrong, as if you have some kind of moral high ground, where is he getting his moral high ground from? That's what I would like to know. How is he saying? How is he making a value judgment on this when factually the majority of history is spent with older men marrying younger women, and these discrepancies or whatever is commonplace throughout the history of the world, and that's how the world has worked. And then this new era only has it changed, and that's only because women have gained the ability to work. So what's his answer to that?
All right, this is going to be our final rebuttal round. Brother D.DERRELL, 3 minutes on the clock. Pull the trigger, sir. You're up.
So the brother has failed to make an argument that is relatable to the topic. Again, he's making arguments on things that I didn't even argue. This whole thing about the age range. Excuse me, brother, but how many 18-year-olds do you see marrying 60 plus year old men? Matter of fact, how many 20-year-olds? It's not a functional institution as it relates to age and age range. Now, if you want to look at research, yes, men generally marry women who are at least 2 to 3 to 15 years younger than them, not 40, 30, 40, or 50 years old. That's a total different. That's an extreme level. I never stated anything was wrong with a man marrying a younger woman, but there has to be limitations to any and everything. Again, I'm looking at functionality. I'm looking at practicality. The bottom line, you don't go around in society seeing 18 to 20, 21-year-olds marrying 60-year-olds. What you do see 60-year-olds marrying maybe 40, 45-year-old women, 50-year-old women within a 5 to 15 year age range. That's more practical. That is happening for a reason. Now, I can't help if my opponent does not understand the dynamics of a relationship, and that most reputable, honorable, mature 60 plus year old men or 50 plus men don't want to marry women that are old enough to be their children. And I found it very, very offensive and disastrous for his argument that he's using 12-year-olds and 14-year-olds. Those are not women. Okay, those are not women. Those are little girls that in their culture, it was appropriate for them to get married. Okay, we're in a culture at the present time where that's not the case. So let's keep it to the topic. Let's keep it to a context of the society that we live in versus things that we can't even find proof whether these people existed or not. So I have no idea whether or not any of those people lived that was in the Bible. You have no record to even identify whether or not it is true or not. Okay, so I don't know if it's myth or if it's reality. So until you can show me proof, birth certificate, burial grounds, and so forth, you have absolutely no argument. So again, as I state, from a functional mental maturity standpoint, an 18-year-old is not mature enough, is not learned enough to be married to a 60-year-old man.
All right. 3 minutes on the clock. Brother J.I., you are up, sir. Pull the trigger.
All right, yes. Let me make it clear what I was saying about when I brought up Mary and Joseph marriage. I brought up a union that is commonly, most black folks will tell you that they're Christian, commonly accepted in our culture. And it was between a young woman and whatever. It's not to say that they actually existed or whatever, but that is accepted. And it's already known and established that there's an age difference. Now, he said that was because that was the culture that they lived in. That is very true. Even in this country, okay, which is why I brought it back to America. You can go back and you can find people who were married. Even today, still, you can still be married in some states at 15. All right, so we're not going to pretend like marriage in all contexts, okay, does not have younger women marrying older men. All right, so I'm not arguing whether these people existed or not. And he keeps trying to say I'm not talking about the point. I am explicitly talking about this point. He again tries to hold some type of moral high ground. He doesn't say where it comes from. He again mentioned that he doesn't know any 60 plus men that are reputable that would do blah blah blah. He doesn't get to decide what reputable is. He doesn't get to decide what's right or wrong. He just doesn't. Then he keeps talking about you don't see a whole lot of 18-year-olds or 20-year-olds married to 60 year olds. Who cares? That's not the point. We also don't see a lot of intact families. Is that okay? We also don't see um, a lot of generational wealth in the black community anymore. Is that okay? For him to say that just because we're not seeing something, there must be a reason that we're not seeing it, as if that is some kind of magical answer, is insanity. And again, I want to know where he's getting his moral high ground from, because he already said he's not getting it from religion. So I'm trying to understand what makes him think that one behavior is right versus another one being wrong. And if all he's going to say is, well, we don't see other people doing it, or it's not a commonplace thing, some people would say that a lot of things that are more commonplace in the black community need to stop being commonplace. Like the poverty that's going on, like these broken homes that's going on, like the 70+% out of wedlock birth rates that's going on. It seems to me that this is almost an attack on marriage. He's trying to police this union, and I have not seen such people go so hard against the ills of the black community, but anything that's functional. Again, this young woman was given away by her father to this man. That speaks to family, and that speaks to a respect and an understanding of marriage that this person has no respect for because of their false believed moral high ground, which does not exist. All right, we can get into this rapid fire.
All right, that's going to conclude the rebuttal round. Now we go into rapid fire. Y'all know rapid fire. There is no moderator. There's no nothing. The brothers go mano y mano, but it's only 10 minutes because this is going to be a short one.
Right.
10 minutes on the clock.
So,
All right. 10 minutes on the clock. This is rapid fire. Pull the trigger. You got it.
So you asked the question, where do you get your moral high ground? Where did I get mine? So where do you get yours? Like, so my moral or morality in regards to where I think and so forth came from my family, came from my father, and came from my father's father. And it came from the family environment that I was in, that older men like that don't marry women that are damn near old enough to be their granddaughters. I've never seen that. And that is pretty much relatively small percentage of people who actually practice that in American culture, period. So where is your moral high ground?
I derive my moral high ground from my own beliefs with a mixture of, how I was raised and everything like that, just like anybody else. But what I don't do is
so what you're basically saying, you don't have anybody that taught you morals, is what you're telling me. You don't have morals. No one taught you morality.
What did I just
No. Nobody. You said that you came from yourself.
I developed it.
You don't have a base of morality. Just say that your father didn't teach you morality.
With a mix of my family.
Did your father teach you morality?
Did you, D.DERRELL?
Mine taught. Do you have a father?
D.DERRELL.
No, brother. Do you have a
D.DERRELL.
father? Do you have a father?
D.DERRELL.
Obviously, you don't have a father.
Yes.
So do you have a father?
I do.
Okay.
Did you not hear what I said?
Did your father?
Did you not hear what I said?
Yes, I did. Did your father teach you morality?
D.DERRELL, did you not hear what I said?
No. So you're not going to answer that
because it's a mix of my own beliefs.
No, you
mixed in with everything I learned from my family. Yes,
no, you didn't say that. You said I have my own.
Yes, I did. When you rewind it back, you will hear that I said that.
Okay,
right
so go ahead. So my thing is that let's talk about the father. Okay, the father who walked his daughter down. Okay, now I'm not going to tell a man
better for his daughter than him. Do you think you know better for his daughter than he does?
I think that something is functionally wrong with the church environment that they're functioning in.
That's a yes or
That's
no.
my
That's a yes or no.
my answer is I think something is functionally wrong with the people in that
Yes or
church.
no.
There are
Do
many
you think you know
instances
better
when
for his
church
daughter than he
there are
does?
many instances in which church-like
He
cults
can't answer.
practice this
He
type
can't
of
answer.
no, I can't answer. I can't answer it. I think that
It's
the
yes or
father
no,
made a
and then
bad
you can pontificate. It's yes or
I
no first.
believe, no, listen, I believe that the father made a poor decision, but that's my opinion.
Foolishness.
No,
So you
it
believe
is
you know better for
foolishness.
a daughter than he does.
It is foolishness for you as a grown ass
Everybody
man
has
to think that a
an
12
opinion.
you think a 12-year-old is a woman, you think a 14-year-old don't you know that that's pedophilic like the statements to say? Are you serious? To sit here as a
D.DERRELL, when did I
grown
say that
ass
they were
man.
women?
No, listen, you did say they were women. You want
D.DERRELL,
to roll
when
the
did I
tape?
say they
You
were
did
women?
say
I
that.
said they were
You said
acceptable of marrying age.
you said that they were women. You stated, and we
I
can
said
roll
they
back
were
the tapes.
acceptable
No.
of
You said it
of
was
marrying age.
acceptable. You said it was
Yes, they can
acceptable for
roll it back
12-year-old
and
women,
it was,
for
and
14-year-old
it
women
was,
to
and
get
those
married.
women were married.
You called them women.
They're not women.
I'm
I didn't
speaking.
refer to them as women.
I'm speaking in the context of present American day culture and society because this is the time in which we live.
No, hold on.
That's why I'm not going to
let's get this
use.
cleared up.
I'm not going to use the Bible as a reference of
Let's get
history
this cleared
when
up.
there is no historical fact that
I
these
did not
people
refer to
existed.
them as women.
Yes, you did.
Darrell.
Is the
I'm
Bible
saying that they
history?
were acceptable
Did
of
you
marrying
not say
age.
that?
And yes,
Did
Mary
you
was.
not
I
say that
didn't
Mary
refer to her
got
as a
married
woman.
at 12? Did you say Mary
She
got
did.
married
I
at
didn't
12?
call her a woman.
Okay,
Yes, I
where is
did,
the
but I didn't
do
call
you
her a
have
woman.
historical fact
See,
on that?
you're trying
Do
to
you
play
have
with these
historical
words,
fact?
just like you tried to play
Do
with the
you
age.
have historical fact?
Acknowledge that
You
I did
don't
not
have,
call them
brother.
women.
You don't
I
have
spoke
historical
of
fact
them.
that any of those
You're
things
trying to
existed.
filibuster.
So
You're
you
trying to
cannot reference
filibuster
things you
because you're
cannot
trying to make a
prove.
point.
But what I can tell
You're
you
trying to make a
in
point,
the average American
and you're
culture,
trying to lie to
in the
make that
normal
point.
aggregate,
And I
18-year-olds are
told
not
you,
marrying
you can
60-year-old
go back,
men.
you can Google it, and you can
18-year-old
go back,
men,
and you can see that
18-year-old women are
young
not
girls
marrying
were
60-year-old
acceptable of
men.
marrying
That's
age.
what you don't understand. I'm looking at the percentage of that happening, the amount of occurrences of that.
What
That
does
does
the
not
percentage? What
typically.
does the
That does
percentage
not.
of
That does not
18-year-olds marrying
typically.
60
It
years
does
old?
not
Why is it
typically
wrong?
happen in
D.DERRELL, why
American
is it
culture.
wrong?
Okay.
Why is it wrong for
Listen to me.
18-year-old to marry 60-year-old? Why?
It is
Why?
married because it's
Why is it wrong?
predatory in nature. It's because it's predatory in nature. And
For
a
18-year-old to
responsible
marry a 60-year-old, that's
for
predatory in
a
nature.
60-year-old to want to marry somebody that young, that's old enough to be their grandchild.
We said
That is
18. I just said
predatory in nature.
18. I just said 18-year-old.
And I just stated again, it is predatory in nature.
You just said 16. I just heard your mouth say 16.
Even if it's 16, it is predatory
No, it's
in
8.
nature.
I said
and she's a minor.
18, and then you changed it to 16. You keep playing with
No,
these
I
numbers,
did.
trying to trip up the audience.
Matter,
Ain't
brother.
nobody
I just
stupid,
told
D.DERRELL.
you.
I just said 18,
you're stupid.
and you dropped the number to
Listen,
16
it
because
doesn't
you're a
matter if
liar.
it's
You're trying
if
to
it's
paint
not
this
16,
narrative, and
if
you
it's
can't
not
deal with the
18,
facts.
brother. Didn't I just tell you? Typically
I
speaking,
just said 18.
when a man,
Why did you drop it down to 16 when I said 18?
typically marry women who are at least 3
Why
to
did you
5
drop it down to
years,
16 when I
up
said
to
18, D.DERRELL?
about anywhere between 12 to 15 years younger than them. That's the normal range.
What's wrong with an
This is
18-year-old
outside of
marrying a
the normal
60-year-old?
range.
What's wrong
Because
with
it is
that?
predatory
What's
in
wrong with that?
nature, and the fact of the
What
matter
makes
is
it
that
predatory?
he
What makes it
molded her to
predatory?
get married. That
D.DERRELL,
relationship
what
did not.
makes it predatory?
It's predatory because he was actually molding her before she was 18. That's the reason it's predatory.
You have
Now,
no
answer your
proof of
question.
that.
Well,
You
you
have
have no
no
proof. You have
that he was
don't have
molding
any
her of
proof.
anything.
Hold on, wait a
Here's
minute.
the fact.
So
Here's the facts that we have.
About proof,
Let me lay out the facts that we have. Let me lay them out because that's why you're trying to overtalk me. That's why you're trying to overtalk me because I'm gonna lay out the facts. You're trying to overtalk me to keep me from laying out the facts. Let me lay them out. Let me say it then, D.DERRELL. Let me say it. Let me say it. Let me say the facts.
I'm listening.
All right, the facts are this. The man married a legal age woman and her father gave her away to that man. Those are the legal facts. That is a fact that's undisputable. So you're trying to paint him as a predator, but that's not the picture of a predator. You just said he was a predator. You just said that's predatory behavior.
I did not
You
say
no,
it
you just
wasn't
said that's
legal, but
predatory
it's not.
behavior. I'm
Just
telling you
because
that's not
something is
predatory
legal,
behavior.
sir, listen. Can I speak? Just
Sir, I'm
because
telling you it's
something
not
is,
predatory.
can I speak? I let you speak on a question. Just because something is legal does not make it predatory. There's
I'm
no
glad we
way this
agree.
man
I'm glad we
molded
agree.
this.
Just because it's
This
legal
this
does not
this
mean it's
man
predatory. We agree.
this man
We
this
agree. Just
man
because it's
this
legal
man
doesn't make it
molded
predatory.
this young woman
DeRell, we just
before
agreed.
she
What you
was
just said,
18
just
years
because
of
it's
age.
legal does not
No,
mean it's predatory.
what
We
it
agree on
is
that.
that what you're
We
trying
agree
to
on
do
what
is
you just said.
legitimize. What you're trying
We
to
just
do is
agreed.
legitimize young girls who are not
We just
necessarily
agreed.
women getting. No, we didn't agree because I said it was predatory. I said just because it's
No,
legal
you said
doesn't mean
you
it's not
said just because
predatory.
it's legal doesn't make
No,
it predatory. No, you didn't say not in there
no.
because you're an
I
idiot.
said just because it's
You
legal
misspoke because you're an
doesn't make
idiot.
it not.
You can play it back,
Just
DeRell.
it doesn't
You
make
can
it.
play
I
it back.
can
That's
play it
not what
back.
you said
So
at first.
you're on the
That's not what you
playback
said at
because
first.
you have no grounds for an argument. You have no argument,
Okay.
and you sound
I
silly.
have no argument.
You have no.
You're
You
trying to
sound
trump
silly
up
thinking.
your
And then the thing
imagined
about it,
moral high ground,
why are
and you
you
think that
going
that
off?
matters. It
Why
does
are
not
you
matter.
going off into this whole thing about lack of family, the 70%? See, all of those are talking points to patronize
Is it a
the
fact
people in
though?
the chat
Is it a
because they
fact?
believe
Is it a
because
fact
they
though?
no
Is it a
those are
fact?
not facts.
Is it a
No,
fact or is it
no.
not? They're not facts?
That's truth.
Okay.
No, they're
All
not
right.
facts because there's truth. There's other
Okay.
truths behind those numbers and how they were
I said
compiled.
okay.
That doesn't make those
You
numbers
said they're not
necessarily
facts. I said okay, DeRell.
as accurate.
We don't have
No,
to
they're
argue that
not. No,
anymore. We don't have to argue.
Okay,
You said they're not
so
facts. I
again,
said okay.
brother,
So let's move on.
brother, listen.
Let's move on.
Okay, so my thing is that you're not looking at the fact that this lady has to navigate in her life being ridiculed.
Let me know when I can talk.
Look, no, I mean I'm letting you know you can talk now. But what I'm saying is that you're just looking at it from the basis of he's a well-established man, he got money, he's gonna die soon, she's gonna inherit it. Okay. That's you're looking at it strictly from a financial standpoint. I'm
I
looking
didn't
at
say
it
anything
from
about that.
yes, you did. You did say that. You said that earlier about a
I didn't say anything
well-established
about him
man.
dying.
Yeah, but he will die before she will, most probably. The probability of that happening is great. So we cannot excuse that from happening. Let's be real. See, what it is that
I didn't bring that up though. You brought that
yes, you
up
did.
though.
You
So don't say
brought
that
up
I
that
brought
the
it up.
man was
I
established.
didn't bring up him dying. I didn't bring up him
Yes, but he
dying.
will die. That's inevitable. Are we talking about the total range of what would occur when somebody get married? Eventually, somebody will die and somebody will
No,
inherit what that
you
person
said what
left
I brought
behind.
up. I did not
Do
bring
you
up
understand what
his
marriage? Do you
mortality.
understand? Do you understand what marriage means? Marriage is also
You added
used
that in there, D.DERRELL, because that's
as
part
a
of
passing of
your
legacy from one
that's part
generation
of
to another.
your
Do
narrative.
you understand that
And
she's
D.DERRELL,
pregnant?
it would
Do
be
you
better
understand that she's
served if
pregnant?
more women.
No,
D.DERRELL, let me ask you this
no.
question. Let me know when
Is
you're done.
not.
I'm gonna ask you a serious question.
It is
Let me know
not
when you're done.
better
I'm gonna ask you a
served
serious
for
question.
18-year-olds to be marrying
All
60-year-old men.
right. Let me know when you're done so I can ask you a question.
No, you go ahead.
All right. This is the question. And don't cut me off. Just answer the question after I'm done with it. The question is this: if in the black community, if we had if all the 18-year-olds or whatever married 60-year-olds or whatever, but it was married to families, do you think the black community would be better than it is now with this out of 70% wedlock and all this stuff? Would it be better or worse?
How is that relative to the topic?
I just asked you a question. If you can't answer it,
No,
just
I
say you
know,
can't
but
answer it.
I'm answering. I'm
Answer the
debating
question.
relative to the topic.
Hold
That has
on.
nothing to do with the topic.
Hold on. We're moving
It
on.
has everything to do with the topic.
Hold
No, it
on.
doesn't.
Hold on. We're moving on because we got other people who want to come up here. So, we started off with Brother D.DERRELL. So we go to the closing statements. We start off with Brother J.I. Get ready to hit the polls, y'all, because the poll will go up right after closing statements. And hit that goddamn like button, you lazy Negroes. You know I like the viewers and the damn likes to match. Hit the goddamn like button. Because if you don't, Negroes, if you do not hit that goddamn like button, I will haunt your old black ass mama in her dreams. I'll be standing over mama bed tonight, goddamn it. That goddamn like button, Negroes. It only takes 2 seconds of your life. All right. 3 minutes on the clock. Brother J.I., you are up, sir. Closing statements.
All right.
Pull the trigger.
Again, thank you, sir, Brother Teapot. Always grateful to be up here. Now, notice, audience, he could not answer my question. Asked a simple question. I'll state it again. Maybe he'll address it, answer it in his closing remarks. If all the 18, 19-year-olds, whatever, today married 60-year-old men and we had marriage and families or whatever, would the community, the black community, look better or would it be worse for those marriages and those families being created? He will not answer it probably. He'll try to dodge it because the reality is this. He keeps talking about these social norms and this nonsense and the 70% of children being had out of wedlock. That doesn't count. It doesn't matter. You know, the fact that the black community is all but disintegrated, it doesn't matter because blah, blah, blah. He doesn't, I don't think he cares about family. If it doesn't look the way that he thinks it should look, he wants to try to tear it down, and that's what these liberals want to do. If you don't move the way they want you to move, okay, if you don't operate in the way that they find acceptable, not understanding that everything is in black and white, there's shades of gray. Everybody sees things differently. All right, but when they try to morally crucify, he has no facts. He has nothing, and even with this young woman's father giving her away to this man, he still thinks he knows better. And to me, that's madness. Think you know better for this young woman than even her father that raised her. It's insanity, pure insanity. If you don't like the way somebody's marriage looks, that's a personal problem. Whatever. This is a marriage. This is a union, blessed by God. If you believe in that thing, that kind of thing, and there really is nothing else to say about it. Now, the point that he was trying to make about this is abnormal behavior, or he was what do you say, he was grooming her or whatever. There is zero evidence that she was being groomed. I would argue that the fact that her father gave her away is evidence that she was not being groomed, because I'm going to assume that man's a good father and he was not allow any grooming to go on or take place. So what this is a case where D.DERRELL can't wrap his small mind around it. Again, this is the same person who criticizes the passport bros and doesn't even have a passport. So we see the type of small-mindedness in which he sees the world, and even the disrespect. Not once did I do any outbursts during his time. He wants to laugh over my neck. See, this is the small-mindedness of these types of people. You just have to understand that this is the type of person that you're dealing with that likes to flaunt themselves and disguise themselves as a would-be intellectual. Don't fall for these tricks. And
All right, Brother D.DERRELL. 3 minutes on the
Yes,
clock,
sir.
brother. Closing
Thank you.
statements. Pull the trigger.
I would like to say this debate was pointless because the brother had no talking points. He had no arguments. He asked me not to hypothesize how good of a father or what type of man this person was. But when it comes to the man making a decision in regards to what was the grounds of the child being married, then all of a sudden he wants to play the psychic all of a sudden, knowing what, when, and how this marriage started in the first place. Either you're going to agree that we can't in any way interpret what happened, or we can't. But see, my brother failed to stay in his lane. He went all over the place. He's talked about things that were relevant to the topic. We're not discussing 70% out of wedlock. We're not discussing all of these other talking points that were not relatable to the topic. The question was in regards to an 18-year-old marrying a 63, 65-year-old man. My opponent failed to do so. He was all over the place. He was unhinged at times. He was difficult to follow. His thought process was disorganized. He failed to stay on topic. He also used references of the Bible and other things that have no historical findings. So he had no argument. All he had was the fact that he was speaking talking points that he thinks that his particular constituency in the chat would agree with. It was not relative to the topic. On the other hand, as it relates to me, I spoke about the dynamics of the relationship. I talked about the occurrences that would occur as it relates to 18-year-olds and 60-plus-year-old men getting married, which doesn't happen. And it's a reason why it doesn't happen, because 16-year-olds don't generally want 80, 60-year-old men, and 65-year-old men don't want 18-year-old women. They actually want women that are at least 10, 5 to 15 years younger than them, as I've stated earlier, in general. So I'm speaking of what actually happens. I'm being more practical about this in regards to how people get married and the age range. It is not practical, and it is proven not to be practical because it is not socially visible to see 18-year-olds marrying 65-year-old men. He tried to filibuster about the accuracy of age and so forth, all that, irrelatable to the fact. The matter is that he never gave one legitimate reason outside of economics that would be beneficial to the wife itself. Also in this, he considered minors as being women, which I thought was disastrous. That's my case.
All
Keep on
right.
with that lie. I
That's going-
never said minors were women.
Yes, you did.
That's going to
I said they
conclude
were
our
married
debate.
age.
No,
once upon a time.
you did say that. You did say that. You said they were
No, I
12-year-old
did
women.
not.
Hold
You
on,
said
hold on.
14-year-old
No,
women, and you said 12-year-old women.
Hold
No,
on,
I did
hold
not.
on.
Yes,
hold
you
on,
did.
Hold on,
You
hold
definitely
on,
said
hold
it.
on,
Go
hold
ahead,
on.
T.
Don't take it back now.
All right. The
And you said it on more than
Somebody
one
take it
occasion.
back.
is
No,
now
I know, 'cause you stated
open.
it.
Vote, Negroes. If you look in the right-hand corner of your computer monitor, you will see a place where you can vote. And the question is, who won the debate? Brother D.DERRELL or Brother J.I.? Hurry up, cast your votes. We're only going to let the vote run for about 10 minutes because I know there's other people who want to come up and do battle with the one and only D.DERRELL. So hurry up.
Why
get the
can't you
votes
answer
in.
my question, D.DERRELL?
What is your
Would the
question, brother?
community improve if all the 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds married 60-year-old men, if that was a social norm? Because you keep talking about it
No,
just
it
because we
wouldn't.
don't see it.
The community would not improve.
Or so it will be better if we continue like it is now
No.
versus the marriage just because of the age gap. You think it would be better?
I just told you that the community would not improve.
Okay.
And you want me to give you the reason why it wouldn't improve? I can tell you why. You want to know why?
Go ahead.
Okay, the reason why it wouldn't improve because the marriages wouldn't last. That's why.
Get those votes in. Get those votes in, Negroes. Get those votes in because I'm probably going to close it in about 10 minutes because I know there's some other contestants waiting in the wings.
So, D.DERRELL, why do you think that the out of wedlock birth rate is so high?
The outer birth rate is high because the Black community fails to raise their children to get married and to understand the importance and the value of marriage. That's the reason. We have failed. Black men have failed to stay in their families and to teach their daughters and their children the importance of getting married and having families. That's the reason. It has nothing to do with Black women because that's not their responsibility. It's Black men's responsibility to teach their families that. That's why.
Okay, and what do you believe the solution is?
The solution is for Black men to stay they black asses in the families, and the women that they pumped and dumped, they need to stay and take responsibility and marry them like they did. Since we want to talk about the old days, let's talk about the shotgun marriages. It's time to bring those back. You get a woman pregnant, you got to marry her and take responsibility for your life. If you get a woman pregnant, that's a lifelong affair. You marry her. You take care of her. You make best of the situation. You take care of your children that you created. That's what we need to do. Get back to that. So now, the later generations that are growing up, they will understand you can't recklessly spread your seeds without repercussions. And that's the reason why you got all these guys roaming around creating all these goddamn children with no responsibility and are apathetic to the situation. So it is up for
So
black men to teach.
how do you blame the men more than those women that choose to get pregnant and have 100%
No,
control over whether or not they have
so
a
here
child
we
or
go
not?
with the financial abortion argument again. So that's where we're going again. First
No,
off, like I
I didn't
told
go to
you,
financial. Hold on, hold
isn't the
on, D.DERRELL.
black
Hold on, hold
isn't
on.
if we want a
D.DERRELL, hold on,
patriarchal listen, do you want a
D.DERRELL,
patriarchal
D.DERRELL,
system?
hold on a second. Hold on a second. Hold on.
Okay,
All
good.
I'm saying is how do you square, because I'm not arguing anymore, the debate's over. But I'm saying, how do you square blaming the men when in today's age, the women have 100% control over whether or not they have a child or not? Okay, go.
Do you want a patriarchal system or not? If you want a patriarchal system, then you have to have men making the decisions. You can't sit here and say, I want a patriarchal system, but then blame women for making decisions that we should be making. The reason why the
So you
system
would
failed
strip
because
women of their rights?
we have women making decisions that men should be making. That's the problem.
Wait, so you would strip women of their rights then and give the power back to
No, I'm
men?
not stripping
Is that
women of
correct?
anything. What I'm telling men is to stay, when you impregnate a woman, regardless of the circumstances, you need to marry her and take responsibility for the seed you created. You see, that
So
used
then
to
you would
happen
force
back
the
in the day.
women to get married?
Do you know why we had a high rate prior to desegregation? It's
So you would
because
force the
fathers
women
were
to get
making
married?
their daughters get married to the men that impregnated them.
So you would
And
force
that's
the
the
women to
reason.
get married?
Yes, they will get married. And I'm forcing the man to get married. Yes. You're going to get married. Yes. Yes. You're forced to get married.
Okay,
And the same
and
thing
women would
goes for
not be
her.
allowed to have
If you
abortions.
lay down, and let a man ejaculate in you and create a child, you should marry him.
Mhm.
That's
Okay,
my position.
so then there would be so women would not be allowed to have abortions.
That the abortion situation will be between the husband and the wife. If that man, if they make
So
that
you're
decision,
saying
that's
the
going to be
man would get
between
equal
them.
say. So you're saying that the man would have equal say.
Yes, in marriage.
So a woman wouldn't be able to get an abortion without the father's permission, is what you're saying.
I agree that a man in a marital situation, I don't agree with a woman getting a abortion
No,
without.
this is post marriage. This is before marriage.
Yes, that's what I'm
Because
saying.
she was pregnant.
In marriage, a woman. I think that when you are married,
They're not married yet.
oh, okay. Oh my God. Look, okay. Are they going to be married or not married? Make a distinction.
This is what I'm saying. You said that in your world you would force people who got pregnant together to get married. I'm saying, so then you would women be able to get an abortion or not? And you're saying no, they would not be
No,
able to get an abortion
a
without the
woman
man's
would not be
permission.
able to get
Okay.
an abortion unless it is agreed upon by her husband, her and her husband. I don't think that women should, on their own, particularly if they're married, get an abortion.
So you're
I think
saying
that
if two people just meet and have sex and the woman gets pregnant, as soon as they have sex, they're married?
no, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that
But you're
if
saying
those
if
two
she has a baby, then they
can
have to get married, right?
can I finish? If two people make a child and they get married, let's say they make this child, she find out she's pregnant, and a week later they get married, then that the abortion should be between the married couple to do so. Now, if that woman gets married and she's on her own without the husband, without the guy, they're not married, and he's not around, then he has no rights to make the decision, and he's not there. That man has the right, being that he is involved in the woman's life, in the child's life. If you're not involved in the situation, then you don't have a right. You lose your right when you're
But
not in there.
if you are involved, if a man meets a woman and they're just dating, they're not married, and he gets her pregnant, they still not married though. But she wants to
But
get an abortion, and he
in
wants
my
her to
world,
keep
that
it.
ain't happening. In my world, you getting married. When you get pregnant, you get married. See, we're going
Okay,
to have to
automatically
start
you're what?
connecting. We
So
have to
what
connect
grounds would
creating
divorce
children.
happen?
We have to connect. If you want to talk about building families, then we have to connect. Having children equals getting married to have a family. We can't have this thing about this co-parenting and this you in one place and that. No, you have a child, you're pregnant, you get married. It's like it should go hand in hand with one another.
Okay, D.DERRELL. D.DERRELL, listen. Oh, I'm with you. I'm with you because what you're saying. I don't. You know, I don't know if you've already explored the depths of where what you're saying would go if that were. But we had that once upon a time that the world was with.
We did.
But what
we
happened
did.
was women lost a lot of rights, D.DERRELL. So what will be the grounds, without this getting too dark, what would be the grounds for divorce in your world? You ran it. What will be the grounds for divorce?
Okay, the grounds of divorce, we would definitely take out no default marriage. That would not be in.
We know that. We know that. So what are the grounds in your world?
One of the grounds would be infidelity. If there's domestic violence, if there's anything such as someone contracting disease, neglect.
How would you prove where the disease came from?
Based on who contracted the disease and went to the doctor and had it documented.
So whoever gets it documented first, they get to say that the other person gave it to them?
Well, somebody had to catch it first. If someone caught a disease and they didn't have it, and then they actually caught it from somebody they was having sex with, and it should be the partner. So if you're a man and you didn't have syphilis one week and the next week you caught syphilis, you obviously caught it from somebody that had syphilis. That's
No, I'm saying, so if anybody is there a punishment when that happens? Because I'm saying you can't prove who gave it to you.
Yes, you can prove who gave it to you.
No, I'm saying you can't prove who gave it to who first. It's like saying whoever calls the cops first, the other person goes to jail.
You can prove who gave it to you first if you didn't have it, and then you do have it. And then I
could cheat on my wife and know that I cheated, and then I could go get a test, and then she got it because I was sleeping with her, but I could say she gave it to me because I went and got the test first.
Okay, well, I'm gonna say this.
The point is,
I'm not a doctor,
how would
so
children be handled?
I can't tell you who would have what first.
Right, let's move past that. How would children be handled in the divorce? So you said that the cheating, abuse are grounds for divorce. How would the children be handled in divorce? Is it automatically 50-50?
Regardless if it can be established which person was the aggressor and they committed the domestic violence, the children should be granted to the person who was a victim of the violence. Because no children should be given to an abusive parent, male or female.
Do you think that it's possible for a person to be abusive to their spouse and not be abusive to their children?
Yes, that happens. I've seen that happen.
You think that the victimized party should still get 100, get the children automatically?
The victimized party?
You said that whoever's the victim should get the children.
Yes, they should.
Why is that?
Because they're the victim, and the children should not be with the aggressor.
But if you know that they're not doing anything bad to children,
I'm going to reward a domestic violence abuser with their children, and you abuse the mother.
It's not about rewarding or punishment.
It is rewarding. Why would I grant you full custody of children and you abuse the other parent? That makes no sense.
I'm asking, in your world, what would it look like? You're saying that the victim would just get them 100%? It wouldn't just be 50-50 automatically?
No. Again, why would you award the domestic violence abuser their children? That doesn't make any sense, brother.
All right. The results are in. And the poll results are: who won the debate? Brother J.I., 63%. Brother D.DERRELL, 36%.
That's funny. Y'all funny. Thank you so much. That lets me know I did my job. That lets me know I did my job. I take that as a win any day.
Hey, the
Well, would you
audience
look at that?
decides, man. I mean, you know,
That was a win.
I
Would
don't
you look
second
at
guess them.
there?
I don't
That was
second
that was
guess
a win
them.
for me.
What they say it
Would you
is,
look at
that's
that?
what it is.
Yeah.
So if there's someone else, I have somebody else down here. They done goddamn jumped off. If you wish to come up and challenge the one and only brother D.DERRELL, hit me in my email. Y'all know what it is already. It's Prophet of Thought at yahoo.com. It's Prophet of Thought, one word, no caps,
Now,
at
now I gotta say something to
yahoo.com.
NYC. Some dude is basing his entire argument on the presumption that the dad is somehow a good man. He must have mentioned dad walking down the aisle at least 10 times. Okay. Okay, then
Hey,
somebody saying
Teapot,
Darrell.
can me and D.DERRELL chop it up until another
Oh,
challenger comes, or
absolutely.
what?
Absolutely. Until somebody else come
So
up, y'all got it.
that's and I'm glad you asked me in regards to the domestic violence, because I actually have a domestic violence program, an accredited program. So I deal with all dynamics that relate to that. And I want you to understand, I've dealt with situations where women were not given, they lost their rights behind domestic violence. So this is not in a position where I'm coming from a place of biasness based on sex. If you hit a man and you repetitively do things, abuse, you should not deserve your children. I've seen that happen. Matter of fact, I've been in court testifying against women that did that and they lost their children.
This okay? What about D.DERRELL? What if they cheat? What if the man or the woman cheats on the spouse a whole lot? Because that was one of your grounds, infidelity. Should they
Okay?
lose custody of their kids in your world?
No,
Would they lose
no,
custody?
no. Infidelity should not be a grounds for losing your children.
So abuse is now. Do you stop? Do you draw the line for abuse at physical abuse, or do you include emotional abuse? What if a woman is emotionally abusing a man, and is that grounds for divorce in your
The
world?
only way emotional abuse, unless you can have that, that's a bit tricky. Because the only way that would make sense in a court of law is if you sought medical treatment to measure that.
I'm
So
talking about
unless,
in your world, would that be grounds for divorce? This man say
uh,
she's emotionally abusing me. I want a
it,
divorce from her. Is that grounds for
it,
divorce under your law?
yes, it depends on what was done. It depends on what was done, the intensity that it was done, and whether or not there are observable proof that it occurred.
Observable proof. So if a man
Yes,
comes and he says that this is the kingdom of D.DERRELL now. So you get to make the laws, decide what's fair and what's just. The
right.
man comes and says, she's talking about I don't make enough money. She's talking about she's comparing me to her friends' husbands. And she's talking about I don't measure up. It's really emotionally abusive. I don't like it. I'm starting to feel depressed. I want to leave her. Is that grounds for divorce in your world?
To me, that he don't make enough money.
No, this is the abuse that he's getting. She's emotionally, she's
But
verbally abusing him, and these are
what
things that she's saying.
well, that case, the
These are
person
put
who's
downs.
but the person who's being abused is the man. So if he wants
That's
to
what I
leave,
just said. I said, can he get a divorce?
yeah, he should get a divorce if he feel that he's not happy in the relationship and he's being emotionally or verbally abused. He should leave.
Okay, so that's grounds for divorce in your world. Now, will she
Yeah, that
lose
is
the
the ground.
children, her
Yeah,
rights to the children? So will she lose rights to her children?
no, not lose. The only way I would vouch for her to lose right if she was also verbally or emotionally abusive to the children. Now, if she did that also to the children, then I would say she should lose her rights.
So why is it then that just because if either one of them is physically abusive to each other, but they're not physically abusive to the children, why should they lose rights to the children if they're a good parent?
Well, I just said if they were doing it to the children, they should lose the rights. If they wasn't, then there should be equal rights amongst both parents.
Right, but when it was physical, you said it didn't matter that they weren't doing it to the children. They should lose rights to
Yeah,
their children
the reason
because
why
why are you drawing that
the reason
distinction?
the distinction is the distinction is in physical abuse, the children hearing or observing it has a more of a psychological profound influence on a child's behavior. when they see or hear that or know that it's taking place. So
Children
typically,
can see and hear the put downs happening.
yeah,
They see that their dad looks
it
bad.
does, but it does not have the same. It does not have, in most cases. I'm not gonna say all cases, but in most cases, as far as outward behavior that was influenced by their environment, the violence has a more in-depth psychological effect on children than actual just hearing people arguing or name calling. The violence is like another. It's a more extreme situation to deal with on average.
And what if the kids never saw the violence?
What you mean if the kids didn't see the violence? They can hear the violence. They know it occurs. They can look at their mom
He
face or
never
their dad.
abused them when what if the person was never
Abuse,
abused while the
brother. Hold
children were
on.
anywhere around?
Are you trying to make it evident that if someone abused somebody, the children, it shouldn't matter when it comes to the children? Is that what you're telling me?
No, I'm
Please let
saying
me
what
know
if
what
the
you're
person
telling me.
that abused them I'm saying, what if the person abused them while the children were never around, so the children never witnessed it?
What do you mean? The children live there. They live with their parents. So why wouldn't they know?
And they never abused them while the children were there. Was while the children were
It doesn't
gone,
matter.
while
It
the children
doesn't
were out
matter
the
if
house.
it does not matter if the
I'm
children is
asking
there or
you,
not.
would they still lose the kids, even if the kids were never exposed to seeing the violence happen?
Yes, they should, because a lot of people who abuse their spouse also abuse the children. So yes, there's potential for that to happen. So yes, they should lose the children, regardless if the
Okay, so
children
then
never
why
saw
would
it.
they not lose them due to the verbal abuse? Because if you verbally
Because
abuse somebody, it's
I
likely you can
told
also
you,
verbal abuse the children.
I just told you that physical abuse has more of a profound influence, whether the children are there in the environment or not, than verbal abuse. That's what I stated. It's a
You just
difference.
said that if they abuse the person, they're more
No,
likely to abuse the children, and
yes,
which
they
would mean
are.
that if they verbally abuse, they're going to also be more likely to verbally abuse the
And
children.
I just told you that physical abuse has more of a profound influence. You forget that part.
Okay,
Yeah, there's
all right.
levels to that.
Let's
There's
all right.
levels.
Let's
Yeah, there's
let's
also
let's let's
financial
move past.
abuse.
I don't
You can abuse with the credit cards and spending and stuff. The kids ain't getting into that, but that still can affect the
give
family.
me an example. Just one example will do of financial abuse. No,
Financial abuse is when,
I know
let's
what it
say,
is. I said you give
okay,
me an example of it.
I'm about to give you an example. In a situation in which a man goes gambling and then you can't afford to
Mm-hmm.
pay the light bill and the water bill, and then you go without light and water for 2 or 3. That's financial abuse. Because
That's
now
financial abuse because he
yes,
gambled the
because
money away.
yes, that's abuse. You abused your money and not used it for what it was supposed to be for. And at the same, and at the yes, brother, listen, you're laughing, but that shows
Go ahead.
your lack of maturity, because you're not looking at the fact that those children went without water and light because of somebody
So
gambling. That is financial
if a
abuse.
man went to work, and then he used his paycheck and he went to go gamble, he was hoping to hit it big, but he crapped out and then the lights got cut off. That's financial abuse.
Yes, it is.
That's just
Because
mismatch.
you couldn't take care of basic. You couldn't take. I don't know why you're laughing. That's actually kind of
No,
ignorant. That you're not even looking at the fact that the children lost basic needs of their
no.
life behind somebody gambling.
Mm-hmm.
That's a problem. That's a problem. That's not funny.
Okay. So would you also agree that if a single mother can't make ends meet and the lights get cut off, that's financial abuse?
No, it's not. She can't afford the children. She don't. How is it going to be financial abuse if she ain't got money? You got to have the money to abuse it.
So why is it financial
She can't,
abuse if the man loses the money?
because she can't. She barely can afford to take care of the children. That's a difference.
So why is it financial abuse when the man can't do it? When he lost the money, why is
He
that financial
gambled the way
abuse?
he misused his money. It doesn't matter if a woman did it. It doesn't even matter. Oh, if a woman did it, it would be the same way. Like women financially abuse with credit cards and the debit card. They go spending out money that's supposed to be used to take care of the house. It's the same thing. It's no difference.
Okay.
It don't
Okay.
matter.
So if you have kids
To be
that
honest with you,
you can't afford,
women actually engage in more
I'm
financial
asking you,
abuse
D.DERRELL.
than men.
I'm asking you the serious question. Let me know when you're done. I'm gonna
Well,
ask you a serious question.
okay, go ahead.
Just let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Oh, okay. So if a woman has a child in poverty and she's in poverty when she gets pregnant, she has that child in poverty, is that financial abuse?
No, it's not,
Why is that not financial abuse?
because she's in poverty. In order to have financial abuse, you got to have money. And it's the misuse of the money, not the lack of having money. That's two different things.
The outcome's the same. But
No, the outcome is
they
not
gotta
the
have the
same.
money and then lose it. So okay, so let me ask you, let me know when
It's
you're ready for me to
about
ask
you
you the next question.
misusing the money, and
Hmm.
also not only that, you're also using the money to manipulate your partner. You can also
Just
financially
let me
abuse
know.
by manipulating the money to control the partner to do what you want them to do.
That
Like say
wasn't
for
anywhere
instance,
in the example that you gave.
yes, I know, but I'm giving another caveat of it as far as it relates
Okay.
to, like, say for instance, let's say a woman says, I'm not giving you sex unless you take me shopping. That's financial abuse. You're manipulating the relationship through financial materialism. That, or if a man said that, well, I pay your car note, I pay everything that you got, and if you don't do the things I want, well, I'm not going to pay those things anymore. So you're going to have to be relying on me. That's financial abuse.
Okay. So let me know
All
when you're
right,
ready for me to ask this question.
hold on a second. Let me just interrupt for a second, brothers, because I did get permission from my man. He wanted me to play this. This is my brother Nick Taylor. This is his new opening to his channel, I believe, and I want you good folks to have a look. And why did that not show? Did the video not show up? What the hell is going on? Am I missing a fucking codec or something? The fuck? Did y'all hear the audio? Did y'all hear the
I
audio?
ain't hear
No,
any.
nothing
I didn't
played.
hear anything.
Nothing happened. Nothing happened. It's just a blank screen.
Oh shit! Damn, motherfucker! I must have the
Oh, he's
codec.
getting that fixed, D.DERRELL. Let me ask you this.
Oh Lord, here
D.DERRELL.
you go.
So based upon your definition, this is about as civil a discussion as we'll be able to have. So based upon your definition, so they gotta lose the thing. So okay, if a woman has a child and they just getting by, and she got the money, but they just getting by, then she gets pregnant by another person. She's a single mother, she gets pregnant by a second father and has a child, and it pushes her down into poverty. And now the child that she has begins to suffer. And of course, the new child is going to be suffering poverty. Is that financial abuse? Because she had the
No,
funds and
that's
then she
not.
lost them.
That's called bad reproduction
It
decisions.
meet it meets your definition though. You said they
No,
got
it
to
doesn't.
have the
No, it
money
doesn't.
and then
No,
lose the
brother.
money to be
No,
financial abuse.
no. Financial abuse is relative to two people in which there's manipulation involved.
There was no manipulation with the
I
gambling, but you
know
said
that.
that was
Therefore, it's
financial
not.
abuse.
It's not financial abuse. There has to be
That's not what
manipulation
you said.
between. That is what I stated. I just gave you my last example. Talked about that. What are you talking about? There has to be a situation in which the abuse caused a disruption in the life of the daily life in a life area of the family or the children, and also the fact that there's manipulation with one party misusing the funds to control the other one. They're using the financial resources to manipulate the other partner and doing what they want them to
D.DERRELL,
do.
we gotta be honest. When
No,
I gave the
you didn't
gambling
listen.
example, there was no thing. You said that was financial
You're
abuse because he
trying to
gambled away the money.
brother. Listen, brother. I
D.DERRELL,
gave
you
you two.
said that,
No,
brother.
you're
You
trying
said
to
that.
use trap questions. You're trying to trap me
I'm
with
not.
questions,
I'm not.
but you're not understanding the answer. I try to give you the answer, and you don't even understand. So I don't understand. You want me to give you. You want to ask me questions, and then you don't even understand the answers. I don't get it.
D.DERRELL,
I ain't even
I
asking
said,
questions.
let me
I
know when I
just
can
told
hop in.
brother. Listen, I just told you, financial abortion. I mean, I'm saying, look, then you got me saying financial abortion. I mean, what I wanted to say was financial abuse lies with two. You have to have two parties involved that are in a relationship in which one party misuses funds in a state in which they misuse the funds in a way that causes problems in the daily life functioning of the family or the couple, or in which one partner uses those resources to manipulate the other partner in doing what they want them to do. Both examples characterize what I just stated. You didn't want to hear that. You tried to trap me in a lie or try to say that I didn't know what I was talking about. I know what I'm talking about. And
Just
then
let me
somebody
know.
there's
Just let me
talking
know when it's
about
my turn.
somebody talking about you don't know the Duluth model. Yes, I do know the Duluth model. I was trained in the Duluth model. That's
Just let
nothing.
me know when I can hop back in.
I don't, but go ahead, brother.
When I gave the example of the man gambling and he lost the money, you said that was financial abuse
That
because
wasn't
he had
financial
the
abuse.
money and he lost it. And it is financial abuse.
Yes, because he abused the money and
You
it never.
just 2 minutes ago
No,
said that it
brother.
wasn't
Okay,
financial abuse.
brother. See. I'm trying. I explained to you. You're listening, trying to find error instead of listening
I'm
specifically
not
to what I
trying to,
stated. Yes, you
sir.
are. I
Sir, that's
just
what you
told you.
said.
I just defined what it meant. I told you one party misuses funds that causes a disruption in the family life living, such as food, clothing, shelter, utilities, cars, whatever. Also included is the fact that one party misuses the funds in order to manipulate the other partner in doing what they want them to do. They're using it as a means of control. That's what I stated. Both examples gave examples of signified that. That was the reason why I gave you two different examples. But oh no, but D.DERRELL, you need the same thing. D.DERRELL, but I thought you said no. That's not what I stated. You didn't listen. I don't know what you want me to
D.DERRELL,
say.
All right, I
Go
think
ahead, brother.
you
hold on.
may have misspoke.
I
No, I
think I
didn't
Okay,
misspoke.
go ahead,
I
T.P.O.T.
think I've gotten it
Go ahead,
fixed.
T.P.O.T.
I think I've gotten it fixed. Listen up,
I'm good.
Negroes. This is my brother Nick Taylor. This is the opening, the intro to his channel. Have a look. Yeah,
I like it.
I
Looks
I
dope.
like it, man.
Yeah, it's
Cinematic
cool.
fucking
Pretty cool.
excellence, man. And if you want something like that or something different, go ahead and check this guy out. I'm telling you, Brother Supreme is nice with that video shit, man. I'm telling you. So if you need intro, outro, website, graphics, audio, whatever, man, I mean, hit him up, man. I'm telling you. And he'll get the shit to you. I know he's really busy because I do talk to Brother Supreme quite often on the phone. I know he's pretty busy with a lot of shit he's working on, but he will get to you, and your shit'll be nice, man. He'll make sure it's what you want. Whatever you say you want, the brother can do. So, hit him up. It's SKC at skcwork.com. SKC at skcwork.com. Nobody has come back. I guess goddamn they're
They got
scared
scared. Yeah,
of
they scared.
D.DERRELL.
What happened the other day? Had everybody trying to jump up and let me get a minute. Let me get 2 minutes.
They are afraid of Brother D.DERRELL. Because I had
Don't be
somebody
scared.
down here. They dropped off. I don't know what the hell happened. But I guess we just gonna stay up here and chop it down.
Right.
Lucky for you, Negroes. I don't have anything early in the morning, or I'll be kicking everybody the hell out. But I guess we just gonna chop it down, man. And I guess Brother D.DERRELL is here for the smoke if anybody comes in and they want it. So
yeah.
that's
Let me
what's
ask you
I got
something,
happening.
questions for
D.DERRELL.
J.I. I got a question for you. How do you
Okay,
gonna
it's
get
only fair. Go ahead.
how do you plan to make the financial abortion financial abortion law? You have never given me a clear and concise process in which that's going to turn into law. Please explain that for me.
All right. Well, yeah, it's very simple. So I made the petition. In truth, I don't know if anything will ever come of it from my specific petition, but more than anything, I hope that through these conversations and all the debates that I've had on T.P.O.T's channel, on Brother BMT's channel about it, that maybe the interviews I've done on other shows and stuff talking about it, I hope that maybe I heard someone, I was able to stimulate thought, and they will be able to, take the baton and really take it to the next level. But my hope was in starting the petition was that I'd be able to get enough petition to gain some type of enough signatures to gain some type of attention on a larger level, and it never happened. So
So you
that is
never
what it
questioned
is.
why it didn't happen, huh?
Did I question why it didn't happen? Is that the question you asked me?
Yes. Did you ever question why it didn't happen? Yes.
My thing was, even when I had the petition in, what is this, a male space or whatever, there are a lot of men like you that actually went against the petition, which was I found very surprising.
A lot of men like me.
How many men? Because you're against it. You said you make fun of it all the time.
Yeah, I made
But
sense because you
it
didn't
was
have no
shocking to
funding.
me. Okay,
He had no.
but it was
You didn't have no
shocking
goals.
to me. Right. So it was shocking to me how many men were so averse to the idea in and of itself. Before we get to any, implementation or anything, how many men like
But
yourself are just
but you know
vehemently
what,
against the
Jr.
idea of it?
Don't you know? Don't you know there were
My
women?
name is J.I. What is this J.R.?
I'm just saying, J.I. Don't you know there were women in my sector that actually was okay? That was a lawyer that actually agreed with you. She was a black female lawyer in Dallas that actually agreed with you on the financial abortion. See, you were looking. I think that I don't think that you marketed yourself correctly because there were women. That was actually 2 women from my sector in the Umar sector that actually agreed with you. There were women that actually agreed with you. Now they were conservative women. They were all conservative. There are some conservative women that do agree with you. I think you missed that boat,
I'm
J.I.
sure.
But yeah,
But
but you
I'm
missed
sure.
the boat.
But my whole thing was all the men that were so vehemently against it.
Yeah, but that's not the
Really
point.
shocked me at first, and I had to understand that some men really just wanted to be on the main. You asked me. This is how I see it. Now, do I
I
believe
know.
that one day financial abortion will come to fruition? Yes, but it may not be from the fruits of my petition. I mean, because just like how people laugh and belittle it, I mean, they did the same thing with anything. They did the same thing with slavery. They
Oh
did the same
Lord,
thing with Jim Crow.
well, they doing it with
They did. They
reparations.
did. Whenever there's
And
something
we
new,
didn't get
they even
reparations
did the
yet.
same thing. They did the same thing with abortion rights, blah, blah, blah. But guess what? You know what women did? And here's where women really beat out men. Women will stick to their ideals in a more unified group. And even if they don't want to do something, they're less apt to get in each other's way because women better understand just by the nature of women, because women understand that they can't get what they want through force. They have to get it through manipulation. And that's all laws are. Laws are manipulation. So, and then they're able to use the government to enforce what they can't enforce themselves. That's what family court is. That's what child support is. A woman can't strong arm a man, and they're doing that. They use the government to strong arm that man, and then the government trickles down things to the women. Women understand that, so they're more reticent to give into things, to not get in the way of things that's good for women as a whole. Whereas you have men who will fight other men on things that are in the best interest of men, and women
Oh
don't
really?
operate like that really.
So
So
that's your thought
that's another
process.
thing.
So now you want to blame men for
That's my
you
thought
being
process.
unsuccessful. Is that what you're telling me? You again, there goes the conservative blame game.
Man, that
I'm not. I'm not.
When you
got
cannot be
is
successful, then you must blame everybody
impenetrable,
else.
boy. I'm telling you, your
I'm not
gaslight
blaming anybody.
game
You asked me my opinion.
is
No, I
above
know, but
Go
the
ahead.
what is why is there an issue with I have to just say I was unsuccessful? It was all me. I did this
My
wrong.
petition was unsuccessful. My
Okay,
petition was
thank you.
unsuccessful.
You
Man,
finally took accountability
boy,
for what you did wrong.
your daggle food
When did I
is
ever say any?
Oh,
When
he
did I ever
Faggle.
say it was successful?
Faggle, stop
your
it, Faggle.
daggle food is
Faggle,
not
please
and
quiet down,
cannot
Faggle. We're
be
not talking to you,
impeached.
Faggle.
You don't
Faggle, we're
even
not
know but even the
Faggle.
correct
We're not talking
pronunciation
to
of
you.
words, and yet
Faggle.
you trying to tell
Faggle, we're
people
not
what the
talking about
definition
you.
of
Faggle.
financial abuse is,
Faggle.
and you
Faggle.
literally just
Faggle, we're not talking
get
to
back
you.
and
I'm
forth
not talking to
on
you,
your
Faggle. Why
own
is it that
definition
Faggles always
of
like
the
to interrupt?
term,
Faggle, why are
definition
you
of the
interrupting
word
me?
financial abuse.
Faggle,
Financial abuse
why are
is
you
actually
interrupting?
abuse. It is not
Faggle,
lack of
Faggle,
money. It is
Faggle,
actually, as you said earlier,
Faggle,
what
Is
you
this the
did
Faggle,
making of another
Faggle,
throwdown? Now,
Yes,
is
it
it?
Faggle,
is.
why
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It is
Faggle, I'm
Okay.
supposed to be
not
Well,
another
we're
talking to
gonna do it
you.
throwdown.
under the clock. Hold on. We're gonna do it under the clock.
No, but let me finish with Jay. I had a discussion. I had
Okay.
a
Okay.
good discussion with Ji. I
Well, you
Okay.
did.
don't
Y'all
know
had
what this other guy got
You
going
had a
on.
non-versation. That's what you had. That's what it was.
So
You had a
Ji, let me ask you
non-versation,
this
not a
question.
conversation. A
Ji,
non-versation.
let me ask you this. What do you think if you were to reinstitute this um
Thank you.
the
Go ahead. Come on. Do 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 do.
I don't know what's wrong
do,
with this brother.
do,
Your
do,
petition
do,
per
do,
se. What do you think you would have went about doing it different as far as you marketing it?
Come on.
I would not have done anything differently, and here's why. Because, like I said, when I made my petition, all right, I was hoping that in a space called the manosphere, it would have gained more traction. It didn't. It is what it is. Now, if I understand that some things it can be the right idea, but it may not be the right person. Meaning one person can say something and nobody really cares, but if another person says the same thing, everybody goes crazy about it, whatever. And I never positioned myself or desired to be that type of person in this space. I was just here to talk to black men. We were having black male-centered conversations about black male issues, and this was an issue that I was passionate about. So, like I said, good brothers like T.P.O.T, BMT, people who let me come on their platform and talk about it, I'll be able to get it off. And this is a gross. I'm not the first person to mention, this issue, but just like many people, I decided to make a petition about it. Okay. So the reason I wouldn't change anything is because I've got everybody in this space, when they talk, they know me as Mr. Financial Abortion, whatever. So the message got out. So even if though people didn't sign my petition or whatever, it's still brought up and talked about in the space, which is really what I wanted. I wanted people to have this type of conversation because everything has to start with that spark of inception. You have people talking about it, and then they start to. I've brought people around,
but
to
they
the
didn't
idea
sign
of
it.
that were staunchly against it. You're right. Some people did not sign, which is why I said the petition. The petition was a fail.
So
in the
you're
sense that
saying
it's not gonna get the attention of the president.
I don't understand,
you know,
J.I. I mean, you failed at it, but you're gonna say you're gonna do the same thing to produce the same outcome? Like that don't make any sense, J.I.
Absolutely, because there's a lot.
That's
like I
bad.
said, maybe somebody
Wait a
listening
minute.
from the clouds. Listen, maybe somebody listening from the clouds. I had no delusions of grandeur that this was gonna take off, and then we were gonna be, I was gonna be talking on, Fox News or whatever about my petition for
It
financial
had that
abortion. Because,
potential.
like I said, I'm not the first person to have this idea, but I got this conversation going in this space to where I'm known as Mr. Financial Abortion, and people who are not having this conversation, I've been on platforms or whatever, just listening from the cloud, and I've heard them talk about financial abortion and mention me. So it has people talking about this idea. Like I said, somebody's going to be able to pick up that baton and take it to where it needs to go, and that's why I wouldn't do anything differently, even if you disagree with that.
Okay, so what you're gonna say is that you were unsuccessful, but you're gonna repeat doing something that's gonna lead to the same outcome. I don't get that, but I understand. You understood the level where you're at. You did raise the discussion, so that's your.
But D.DERRELL, there were people who did protests, in marches or whatever before Rosa Parks did her protest on the bus or whatever. But Rosa Parks was the one that, ignited it and got everything going. Just because you're not the person that sets off the big thing or whatever doesn't mean you can't be a domino that leads to the next domino, leads to it until it gets to a nationalized event. And that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying
you're going to rely on wishful thinking that something will just spontaneously come out there, that somebody's going to have an idea and push it forward.
I don't think it's wishful thinking. What I'm saying is, when you're in a space, all right, this is not. Before I started talking about this, there was not people talking about financial abortion. T.P.O.T, who was talking about financial abortion before I brought it up?
Because nobody had a ludicrous idea.
The first person I ever heard.
Nobody. No,
actually,
nobody.
It's not a ludicrous idea at all. Actually, it's actually quite sound. Actually,
no, it's
based
not.
on the situation that is going on right now.
Others would believe so.
No, they don't believe it. It's because they're mad.
Nobody was talking to you.
But
you want to be relevant.
But I'm
so
in
bad.
the conversation.
Nobody talks to you
because you said you wanted somebody to talk to.
So J.I., my question is this. I got another question to ask you.
Hello.
Now,
no, wait, hold on. T.P.O.T, who was mentioning it before me?
Nobody.
So, but now it's a conversation that's being had.
Okay. Well, if that's on lines of success,
and to me, that's a win.
I agree with that.
To me, that's a win.
Okay, you did meet that objective. I'll give you that. You did have people talking about it. It was discussion.
D.DERRELL, you're intelligent.
I was part of it. I was part of the debate.
When there was a conversation.
He's functional.
To free
he's
play.
functional. Yeah, he's functional. He's not intelligent.
Faggle, could you be quiet?
You gotta think. D.DERRELL. When there was talk to free the slaves, it had to begin as talk. Somebody had to bring that up because there was a time when nobody even gave it a second thought. This is what it was. And somebody said, you know what, maybe it shouldn't be like this. And then a conversation started being had. And from there, momentum builds and blah, blah, blah. But when that conversation starts, some could argue that that's the most important piece to start it because it has to start somewhere. I started something from nothing. And I take pride in that. And I accept that. Even though it didn't blow up into whatever, 1 million cities or whatever, I take pride in what it did accomplish. Which you may not see as a big accomplishment.
I do agree that there was an accomplishment because that was a hot topic back in 2020, 2021. That was a hot topic. I agree with that. I'll give you credit for that. I'm reasonable.
So, brother A Truism and brother D.DERRELL, I'm assuming we're about to do another debate. And hold on, shout out to brother Deacon Dave with the Cash App. And
Shout out.
Deacon Dave is a member of the T.P.O.T YouTube page, a paying member. So when you're a paying member and you donate, you get this.
Outstanding. You just joined the page? Cool. You know it's appreciated.
Appreciate that, brother Deacon Dave. So, all right, what are we debating?
That's what I want to know.
I think SKC brings up a very interesting question in this.
Oh, yeah, and there's a question on the big board for you, brother D.DERRELL. He says, does he agree with Jackson Scotus nominee inability to give a definition of woman or what of her lowering prison terms for pedos?
I don't agree with that at all.
Which part of it do you not agree with?
I don't agree. I think that was showed a level of incompetence by not defining what a woman is. And I felt that it was also embarrassing to lower prison time for pedos.
Very good. So you do actually have more in that skull of yours than a creamy nuggety center. Okay, congratulations.
Could you please, man? You acting like a cartoon.
Spell it.
Could you stop acting like a cartoon?
Spell it.
Can you please stop acting like a cartoon?
Spell it.
No,
So,
brother X, I got to know. There's a person that said Shotgun Rita. The last, I want you to read that out.
Shotgun Rider. Come on,
Rider,
man.
Rita, whatever.
Rider. No, Rider. It's called linguistic clarity.
Brother, if you can just be quiet,
precision.
Man. Brother,
he says
it's crazy that you can't.
I want to talk about the Duluth model
in a field that requires you to talk.
Can you be quiet?
That's just crazy, isn't it?
He says if D.DERRELL was trained in the Duluth model, he realizes as a man he has no rights. Is he for that?
Okay, now what I will say, I do agree. In the training for the Duluth model, it is highly weighted towards men being the aggressor in domestic violence.
A simple yes or no would suffice.
So I do understand his purpose for that. Now, I do also want him to understand that there's also two models.
Such a simple question.
Okay.
Why can't he get an answer? Is a yes or no? Yes or no? In Spanish, sí or no?
T.P.O.T, can I answer now?
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So
and then tell me what y'all debating after that. Let me know what y'all
okay. So when we're looking at the Duluth model, there are two different training paths that they have. They have the Duluth model for men, and there's also one for women. The model itself is not a combined situation where it has it for men, a curriculum that composed of men and women as a whole. That the training for the classes for women is totally different from men, because the aggression and the psychology behind women and men acting in that manner is totally different. So there's things in the Duluth model I don't agree with. I don't, just because I'm trained in something don't mean I'm going to automatically agree with everything that is stated. I make my own decisions on how I will implement that curriculum towards those who've been guilty of domestic violence. So that's my answer. In regards to, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm gonna go ahead and debate this brother just on the fact of entertainment, but I know he's not gonna bring anything intellectual to this debate. So I'm just gonna go and rock with it.
Very good. You actually said the word debate. I'll go with dealer's choice, X. Whatever you wish to debate.
Yeah, just let me know. We under the clock, so it's going to be a little more controlled. So you only have X amount of minutes to, lay it out. So let me know what y'all want to do. What do y'all want to?
I'm saying I'll leave it in your hands, X. Whatever topic you wish to go with.
No, I mean,
because I didn't come here really to debate.
We
It's
were
because this
supposed to talk
particular
about systematic racism that you ran from.
systematic racism.
Yes, you ran from it last Friday.
You literally just
So is that what y'all
derailed into
want to
that.
debate?
So now
No,
you want to
you ran from it last
I
week.
didn't
So
run
either
from
you
it,
want
sir.
to talk about
I
it or you're not.
literally gave you answers to it, but the
Are
answers
you going to
were not
debate it or not?
magalicious enough.
Are
to
you
meet
going
your
to debate it or
standards.
not and quit
Correct.
acting like a kid?
Okay. We can
Okay,
talk
so,
about systematic racism
what-
if that works for you. Okay,
Okay,
let's
what-
go for it.
Okay, what side of each one of you on, so I can decide who goes first?
I'm for the fact that it exists.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, I also can agree to that. Yes, it. I mean, there's some racism.
According to the other week, you didn't say that.
Let's listen to what I'm saying.
Pretending it didn't agree,
no, I didn't.
exist.
No, I didn't pretend it doesn't exist.
Yes,
That's
you
not
did.
what I did. No.
You want to go back to the tape?
No.
We can show the receipts.
You can go right on here, please. Please do.
You argue
Please, you
with
can go
me
right on
for
ahead.
15 minutes. You
It's
argue
not-
with me for 15
no,
minutes about
it's
it.
racism. Yes, it does.
Okay. Well,
Racism
racism.
exists. Some racism does exist. Yes, it's it's
Okay,
part of human nature.
racism. You act like it didn't exist at all.
No, I did not. No.
So
Yes,
some,
you did.
so some,
did
I
act
guess
like
some
that.
elements. I guess some elements of it. You're
Okay,
against,
put
Brother
it like this.
H-rism.
I'll say I'll be against it existing.
Okay, well, you're the negative. That means you go first.
Okay.
All right. 4 minutes on the clock. Oh, are you familiar with how we do the debates here, Brother Truism?
Yeah, I've seen it enough times. Yes, I've seen it enough
Okay.
times.
Nah,
Okay.
he needs to repeat again. He's slow.
Okay, but
No, come on. Come on,
See what I'm
Brother
saying?
D.DERRELL.
and that's why I'm here.
Jesus.
That's
come
why
on,
that's
man.
why I'm here.
Come on.
That's why
All
I'm
He's
right.
here.
slow.
4 minutes on the clock. Opening statements. Brother H-rism, you are up, sir. Pull the trigger. Opening statements.
Okay. Now, is there such a thing as racism? Yes. Unfortunately, if you are a human being, there are some people who will not like you because you are not the same as them. Unfortunately, it is a part of human nature to have a bias against something that is not what you are. But what a lot of these people who are complaining about systematic racism are really complaining about is that people are tired of niggatry. They're tired of daggle, or what I like to call, and SKC likes to argue with me about this, discarded side bitch syndrome. This infantile need to try to keep oppressing people, and this is what you actually are doing, to get them to feel sorry for you, to give you things that you have not earned, just so you feel like things are equal. That is not how the universe works. The question I want to ask is it really anti-blackness or is it anti-asshole that's causing the problem? Because if it's anti-asshole, then maybe the people who are being assholes need to stop being assholes. Now, yes, there have been times in my life, then yes, I have had, some run-ins with people who use the word nigger. Okay. It's life. Eventually you're gonna come across that. Is it systematic? No. Was there some things in place that actually had some systematics? That was some legislation in place back, say, in maybe 1965. Going back beyond that, of course there was. Unfortunately, again, that's just part of what came with part and parcel with the creation of America. It did happen, yes. However, at this particular point, you can't claim systematic racism when you're literally having people who are clearly unqualified for a job, literally being pushed into it just because of the correct equipment they have downstairs, even though they can't define what the hell that is, and a skin tone. You can't say systematic racism when you have literally people who have committed major crimes. They have committed narcotics crimes, and SKC has shown this, as a matter of fact, who get slapped on the wrist and go back out and commit the exact same crime. But people who what you would call the dominant society getting much harsher penalties. You can't say systematic racism when there's places where there are no cash bonds, when people are just able to write down their signature and go right back out on the street and go right back to committing the exact same or even worse crime. I'm sorry. If that's systematic racism, then we're in some kind of weird, bizarro world. Just because you're not getting your feelings justified, verified, and pacified does not mean that you are being discriminated against. That is the real world. The real world gives you what you put into it and put out of it. That's how reality works. You want to know why black folk had such a disadvantage? I'll tell you why. Because black men had to operate under 100 times Earth gravity with an ungrateful, angry side bitch on his back, weighing him down, aside from everything else. And I'm done.
All right, brother D.DERRELL, 4 minutes on the clock. Opening statements, brother. Pull the trigger.
All right. So the question is in regards to systematic racism, does it exist? I wholeheartedly think it has existed. We've been the victims of that. We've been on the downside of that system since we've been here. First and foremost, we look at the fact that through systematic racism, we were denied citizenship for hundreds of years. We were enslaved, and we were basically providing free labor without being compensated. We were born without birth certificates. Again, we were not considered American citizens. We didn't have any right to do anything. And then also, when you look at the fact that once slavery ended, you're looking at the Reconstruction period. That was an implementation of laws that damn near was just short of slavery, because we went from being enslaved to sharecropping and so forth. Particularly if we were in the southern states, it still had a slave-like system. We had no rights as it relates to the inability to seek education, um, not being able to obtain health care, and also from the financial aspects, being able to obtain whatever jobs and fields that we wanted to study and so forth. Everything was pretty much underfunded for Black people if we were receiving anything from the government. Also, we have to look at in the aftermath of slavery, there was a large percentage of African Americans who did obtain some level of land and resources after slavery, in which, upon slavery ending, systematic racism allowed criminals to steal that land and resources from us with no judicial recourse, thus creating a situation in which we were almost starting from scratch, almost to a point where we were almost in a slave system. Then we look at the onset of Jim Crow laws, particularly in the South. And I also want us to understand, see, when we talk about Jim Crow, we focus so much on the South, but we don't talk about the redlining and other different inequities as far as obtaining loans and other things that were done in northern and western states, because all states had some level of governmental influence in hindering Black people from functioning and becoming successful. So that occurred also, but that to me is understudied and not talked about a lot as far as Northeast states or Midwest states and Western states that had levels of racial discrimination in their governmental policies. Then we take a look at the civil rights movement, in which we were trying to obtain certain laws and freedoms and privileges to do certain things. It's just as simple as using a public restroom, just as simple as drinking from the same water fountain and so forth, bus stops and etc., in which we were at a position where we could not function. And then those particular laws were implemented that we could have equal access. And so when we're talking about systematic racism, from the things that I've just spoken for in chronological order, I'll give evidence to the fact that systematic racism existed and those laws were implemented to exclusively harm us in a negative manner to prevent us from being successful, to prevent us from being an independent and robust society. Thank you.
All right, that's going to close out the opening statements. We're going to go into the rebuttal round. The rebuttal rounds are 3 minutes per debater, 2 rounds. We just left off with Brother D.DERRELL, so we pick it back up with Brother A Truism. 3 minutes on the clock. Pull the trigger, sir. This is the rebuttal round.
Now, thank you, D.DERRELL, for basically just confirming what I just got through saying in the earlier part of my, I guess, my opening statement, but you just dragged it out a great deal longer. We all know about the history of what happened, or at least some of it, because you left a good portion of it out. What I'm saying here is, yes, these things did happen. What I'm saying now is that is no longer the case, at least not in the way that maybe you would want it to be, honestly, because today, Black people are allowed to do a great deal, many things, many of which are of harm, repeatedly in many cases, usually in Democrat-run cities, as a matter of fact, which Philadelphia is one, which was my hometown. And they're able to do so time after time after time after time until they create or until they commit something that's so heinous that everybody's now not understanding, well, why in the hell was he able to do this all this many times? We literally had criminals just a couple of days ago, the last time SKC streamed, or at least one of his streams I saw on it, the dude got out of jail 29 times. He didn't have to pay bail. He just had to sign his signature and walk back out on the street and committed the crime again. Literally. What systematic racism is that? Where it allows a criminal, apparently, we'll put it like this. How is it systematic racism that is antithetical to Black people when it seems to me that it shows more of a preference to Black criminals than it does to show to criminals of the quote unquote dominant society? We already know about what happened in the past. It's history, brother. So unless you're going to get back, going to talk to Doc Brown and get your ass in the DeLorean and go ahead and start slitting some throats back in 1865 or however, how far you want to go, you might as well just leave that where it's at. I'm dealing with the price of rice in Chinatown today. What about today? Because we can't do nothing about tomorrow. Because yesterday is history and tomorrow is a mystery. But we have today, which is a gift. So what are you going to do about that?
All right. 3 minutes on the clock. Brother D.DERRELL, you are up, sir. Pull the trigger.
I really don't know what he is debating. You actually are making my point when you use the criminal justice system, which to me is one of the greatest practice as far as the greatest agencies of imposing systematic racism on Black people. Throughout the time of us being in this country, there were Black people that were unjustly placed into that system and incarcerated. We have a long history of Black people being wrongly committed of crimes that they did not do. There's all type of flaws in the criminal justice system. Black people, even though we are like 12% of the 13 or 14%, whatever, 12, 13% of the population, are overwhelmingly over prosecuted and put into that system. And we are in the prison industrial complex. So I don't know the basis of how you're going to take a situation in which a Black person committed a crime and signed a no cash bond and was released as evident of there's no racism. So you're going to use something in which the system worked for a criminal, but you don't talk about the fact that for most criminals that are in this system, they're more likely to be incarcerated, not only be incarcerated or found guilty, but also more likely to give longer sentences and also more likely to be put in some form of criminal justice supervision. So I would suggest you go back and read some things to kind of and somewhat elaborate on that, because I don't understand how that's conducive to any type of intellectual conversation about that. Second of all, when we're talking about systematic racism, because I'm going to go with the criminal just because we're talking about that. He also failed to talk about the fact that we have what's called private prisons. And I know the brother's going to sit here and say, because he likes to single out, that single black person. Well, Michael Jordan owned a private prison and so. Yes, but they make up 1% of the other 99% that own these things, and they basically are monetarily benefiting from housing and incarcerating black people, and they're also working for pennies on the dollars in many of these private prisons as for damn near free labor. So again, systematic racism is around, it's evident, it's loud and clear, but it's not a perfect system. That's why you're going to see people who have success and who are able to navigate and become just as successful as anyone in this country. Just because it exists doesn't mean that it's not perfect.
All right, this is going to be our last rebuttal round. 3 minutes on the clock, Brother Atrism. You are up, sir. Pull the trigger.
D.DERRELL, this is not the system where there are actual laws on the books. Matter of fact, like I said before, in most of these are in big cities, most cases are run under democratic rule, as in New York, as a matter of fact. There's a reason, I don't know why, that there is a no cash bond, but the simple fact that it is a no cash bond and it keeps being used by black criminals to get out to commit the exact same crimes again and again and again and again and again. That to me doesn't look like the kind of systematic racism you're talking about. Maybe the fact that maybe a lot of black men get caught up in the system is because they keep engaging in illegal activities that they say that they're not supposed to be doing. If you know that engaging in such activity will get you the time, and in many cases, as you said, the case or the sentencing will be that much more draconian because of your black skin, why not? Oh, I don't know. Use some common sense and don't engage in that. We're going to forget about the fact that there actually is a legislation on the books that can get a doggone black criminal right back out on the doggone street with nothing more than a signature. We'll forget all about that. And we're just going to go down and get to the actual culture that produces these particular gentlemen. See, when you don't value families, when you don't value structure, when you don't value responsibility, then you find yourself engaging in many destructive and even criminal activities, thereby getting you more and more into the presence of law enforcement. You want to know the best way to avoid a punch? Is to not be there when it's thrown. If you know that they're out to get you, is it really paranoia? If you say all these things, that these are system that is directly targeted at the back of your head, then why would you walk into the lion's den and then get mad when your ass gets bit off just because you decide you want to wear a baloney G-string? can't blame the system for human failure.
All right. Brother D.DERRELL, 3 minutes on the clock.
Right.
You are up, sir. Pull the trigger.
Okay. So again, I don't know what this brother is debating. It sounds like he's debating himself, because he's definitely not debating me, because none of his rebuttals actually related to anything in regards to the topic, nor did it relate to anything that I stated. It's filled with, to me, sophomoric phrases and cliches and things that absolutely make no sense. I would challenge him to please stay on topic, and also to be adult in his responses. But as we talk about systematic racism, we're speaking of the criminal justice system. This is like the third time in our rebuttal that he keeps going back to prison sentences and so forth, and it's due to human failure. But he fails to talk about the context in which humans fail, in the environment and the systemic um, policies that are implemented so that that can be produced. You see, when we're talking about systematic racism, it is simply defined to do exactly what it is meant to do, and it works. Systematic racism has been designed to lower the ability of Black people to gain power, real power. Okay? We don't have it. We've never had it. I would like you to understand that the progress in regards to Black people obtaining um, wealth, overall wealth in this country, has been the same as it was since the 1800s. That is 0.5%. That means that there's no progress. There have been many situations, and even through all of the systematic racism that disallowed us to be in certain fields of academia, certain things within the military. Uh, there were times when we couldn't even have, Black people couldn't even buy life insurance policies. All instruments that signify ability to have generational wealth. Now, when we look at um, places such as Durham, North Carolina, Rosewood, um, Black Wall Street, we were at one point creating an atmosphere which we could have changed that to be in our favor. But what happened? Systematic racism allowed the majority culture to come in and destroy what could have been the root of us expanding and allowing our community to be in a better position. Thus, in this day in 2022, we could have been the recipient of the wealth that would have been accumulated over time if those particular cities would have continued to stay Black controlled with a Black economy.
All right. That is going to end the rebuttal rounds. Now we move into rapid fire. Rapid fire is 10 minutes. Let me put 10 minutes on the clock. Yeah. All right. You know, rapid fire. There's no moderator. There's no me. There's nothing. It's mono, sort of like we did a couple hours ago. So go ahead. Go ahead, brothers. Pull the trigger. This is rapid fire.
So now the question I have to ask for you, when those particulars, what let me ask you this. When those particular incidences happened with Rosewood and Black Wall Street and things of this nature, what stopped Black folk from going back and doing it again?
It didn't.
Sticking to it.
It didn't.
So what stopped them?
Nothing stopped them.
So why didn't they do it?
Okay, can I explain?
Go
Okay,
ahead.
so how do you expect for one of the most glamorous cities in Oklahoma to be destroyed, and then people were forced out due to systematic racism, where you had the average person who was not policed by the society having a gun and shooting down and destroying homes and destroying infrastructure that were built by Black people? They were ran off due to fear. See, what you don't understand before.
Then what you should have done then at that particular point, instead of being afraid,
now you're speaking
what
from
you
hindsight.
should have done, what you should have done at that point,
you don't know what they should have done because you wasn't there.
No,
No, there was
no.
there
They
was a
should have
lesson
learned the
learned.
lesson the first
No,
place.
you
The
should
problem here
no.
is with
The
Negroes
government
they
system.
lived in
If
la la
if it
land.
wasn't for
See,
systematic
okay,
racism, it
great.
wouldn't
So
have
now that
happened.
you said that, now that's systematic
No,
racism, right? Once
Deal with
the
the issue.
Emancipation
Can
Proclamation
you
came
deal?
out,
No, that
right?
has nothing to do
Where's
with
the
the Emancipation
no, it just
Proclamation.
did because
The
once it did,
Emancipation
and they
Proclamation
started the
didn't mean
process of
anything.
making the town in the first
It
place.
didn't mean
When they
anything.
started making these towns,
The
what they
Emancipation
should have done
Proclamation didn't
at
have
that point
any.
was
It
realize
had
the
no.
type of environment
It
that
had
they
no
were in
meat,
and should have prepared
brother.
accordingly. The problem here
The
is
Emancipation
they
Proclamation didn't mean
they
anything.
lived in
It
a
didn't mean
fantasy world
anything.
where
The
because a piece
people
of
they
paper
did
said
not
they were
live in a
free,
fantasy world because
unfortunately,
they built
they didn't
their
realize that
community.
these type of people
It did
were
not
not
matter. They dealt
probably
in
were not going to
reality.
be very happy about
Okay,
having them there.
you can't
So
listen.
what they
You just
should have done
no,
is
no,
prepared accordingly,
no.
just in case
They
something
did
like that would have
prepare
happened. No, they did not.
accordingly.
No, they didn't.
Don't
Because
you
they
know
said
that
they were
the
caught
houses
completely unaware about that.
before Tulsa,
They were
Oklahoma
caught
happened,
completely with their
there were
pants down.
houses that were
So
burnt
there's
down and
no
business
way that they
destroyed,
weren't
and
ready
they
for that. I'm
constantly
sorry. There's no
rebuilt
way you can tell me
their
that they were
businesses.
caught off
They
guard. They were
rebuilt the
caught off guard.
businesses because they couldn't afford to do it anymore. The things
Okay,
were
so they
rebuilt. Did you
rebuilt
know
the
that?
businesses. What they should have
And they
done
got
is stuck
destroyed.
to it. What they should have
They
done is
did.
stuck to it,
How can you
or
can destroy?
moved to someplace else and
How can
start
you
again.
how can you
See,
destroy? How can you
there's nothing.
rebuild something
You
when it
can't.
was
You do
domestic
it as many
terrorism that
times as you
destroyed the city?
You do it as many times as
Domestic
needed.
terrorism
You do it
destroyed
as
the
many
city.
times as necessary, and you learn from the
Domestic
mistakes that were
terrorism
past.
destroyed the
It
city.
doesn't matter about the domestic
Domestic terror.
terrorism
It does
if you
matter
are
because it
ready
costs
when the
money.
time comes.
Domestic terrorism
It
destroyed
doesn't
the
matter
city.
if you
It
are ready.
does matter.
You didn't
Now
get
you
ready
just
for it,
don't make
so
any
now
sense.
you got
You
what
don't
you
even
got.
know history. I don't
That's
even know
what
why
happened.
I'm
I do
debating
know
with
what
you. You
happened
don't
with
even know
history.
history.
I do know what happened, and I also know human psychology.
Domestic
Unfortunately,
terrorism
if you are
destroyed
not
it.
prepared for
They
a
did
problem,
not have
then a
the, they did
problem is
not
going to
have the
come.
resources to
Those
rebuild
who
it back.
who
The
fail to
people were not mentally
prepare
and they
to
were not
fail.
mentally and they didn't have the
Well,
financial
that's their
ability
problem.
to
They
repair
were
it.
weak at that point.
Systematic
They were weak.
racism
They
allowed
were
it to
weak at
happen.
that point. They were
They
weak.
were not weak
They
people.
were weak. They were weak.
Systematic
They were weak.
racism
Point
allowed
blank.
it to
They were
occur.
weak. Because if it was
Systematic
me,
racism
I
allowed
would
it
have
to
started
occur.
all over again, and I would have learned from the last time
You
it
didn't
failed.
learn anything because you don't know how to build anything. So
How
let's
the hell
stick
do
to
you
the
know what I
topic.
don't know how to build?
Because
Because
if
you
you
just
did,
basically
you
just
would
getting
say
your
it.
feelings.
What
Really?
have you built?
Is it really? Come
What
on
have
now.
you
Is
built?
it feeling really?
What did you
Really?
build?
Is it the feelings?
What did you build?
Oh.
What did
So
you
it's because the
build?
narrative is not really working out for
No.
you. Now
What
you
did
want
you
to just go
build?
with a nice little
Sir,
ad hominems
sir,
and the little side tangents and the
sir,
little
did you
and the
build? What
feelings,
did you build?
the feelings,
Okay,
the
you're not here to debate. You're still acting like a clown
feelings.
again.
Nothing more than feelings. Because I already told you what they should have done, but
No,
you don't want to
you
hear
don't
that
know what they
because
should have done
you keep
because
saying
you don't know how to
throwing
build.
up the
You
boogeyman
don't know
of
how to build.
domestic terrorism.
You don't
You
know
keep
how to
throwing
build
up the
because
boogeyman of
they were
racism.
victims of
You keep
domestic
throwing up the
terrorism.
boogeyman of the white
No, it was
man.
no
Stop. You
boogeyman.
keep throwing it up.
That's historically documented. I don't know what you're
Yes,
talking
it
about.
happened. But guess what?
Yes, it did
When they
happen.
tried to go back and they did build it up because they did, but they
No.
didn't finish. And you want to know why they didn't finish
that's
it?
not.
You know what
I don't
happened?
know where you
They
get your
actually left
information
it.
from.
They
I don't
actually
know
left
what you
it.
get your
They
information
left
from
it
where
right there.
people are being
Why?
terrorized.
Because
They had
the
no
white
means to
man's ice
rebuild
was
it.
colder.
No, the
That's
white
why.
man bombed
That's
the
why they
place.
did it.
It shouldn't have happened in the first place.
Okay,
That is
so it did,
systematic
but it
racism
did
that
happen.
allowed it to
And
happen.
so what? Now that it
Systematic
happened, you're
racism
supposed
allowed
to
it to
learn
happen.
from a
You
mistake.
can
You're
ignore
supposed
it
to
as
learn from
all
that.
you want.
I'm not
All you're
ignoring
doing
it.
is
I'm
bringing up
acknowledging it.
fruitless
I'm
rhetoric
saying
that has
they
no
should have
basis,
learned
and you're
from the
clowning and
first time.
singing and
So
tap
when
dancing again.
when the next
Please,
time
sir,
came
can you
for
please stay
them
on topic?
to do
Sir,
what they wanted to do
can you
again,
stay on
when they
topic?
tried to rebuild, they should have been
Can
able
you
to
stay on
rebuild back
topic?
better, but they
You
did not.
have no argument. You have no argument.
I'm just getting
Sir,
saying
can you
it to you,
present a
but you're so
valuable
busy
argument?
shooting diarrhea out of your mouth,
Can
you're You're
now
not
you're
even
talking
hearing what
about
I'm saying.
diarrhea. Can you have
That's all
a
you're doing.
argument, sir?
Is a
Please.
verbal,
We're
verbal
here to
saddle
talk
of
about the
diarrhea.
existence
I
of
just got through
racism.
telling you
Can
that
you
if
continue
that
to talk
happened
about
once,
it? You
they were
have not
able to
brought
do
up
it again.
one
But they
particular
do not wish. They
situation
did
that
not wish
shows
to
that
do so.
racism does
They
not
did not.
exist.
What
What you're
stopped them
doing
from
is
doing it again?
clowning and acting a
What
fool,
stopped
and
them
you
from
make
doing
no
it again?
sense.
What stopped them from
Brother,
doing it
you
again?
make no
What stopped them?
sense.
What
You're
stopped them?
making no sense.
What stopped
You
them?
came back to
What
make
stopped
an
them?
ass of yourself
What
again.
stopped them? I'm asking
You
again. What
came back.
stopped them?
What
What
stopped
stopped
them
them?
is they didn't have any resources.
What do you mean they
That's
didn't have
what
any
stopped
resources?
them.
They had
They didn't have
themselves,
any
they had their
money
bodies, and they had
because
brains
they
in their
lost
head.
their businesses, dumbass. What are you
Well, they
talking
could have
about?
started all
They didn't
over
have the
again.
means to
People have
rebuild.
lost.
Where are they going to
There's
get the
people
money
who have
from?
lost
Where are they going to
family
get the
and
money
everything
from?
else, and had the ability
You
to
don't even know
restart all
business.
over again.
Have you
If
even
they
owned a
really
business
had to
before?
stick to it, and if
You
they
don't
do
even
it,
know.
they could have done it.
You don't know
They could have
business.
done
You
it.
never built anything.
It could have
You
been
know,
done
you
again
came
had
in
they
here
chosen
clowning.
to do
All
so.
you know how to do is
The
chase
reason why they haven't done it
non-black
is
women.
because
That's
the
all you
Dago told them that the white
specialize
man's
in.
eyes is colder,
You
and they
specialize
followed Big
in
Mama
dating
through the cities. That's
non-black
what they
women.
did.
That's
That's what
all
the
you
problem
know.
is.
All you know is
That's
dating
what the problem
non-black
is.
women.
And you want to talk about
That's the
all
only
these
thing
things
that you
that
seem
were
to be
deprived
well
of us.
versed in.
But what
You know
about the
nothing
things that are
else.
going on
You
right
know
now?
nothing
What's
else.
about going right
You
now?
brought
So
nothing
what's
to
going on
the
right now,
debate.
though? What about what's
You
going on
brought
right now?
nothing to
What's
the
going on
debate.
right now, bro?
You
What about
never,
right
you
now?
never, you
What
didn't
about
clarify
right now?
anything.
What
You
about
didn't
right
make any
now?
sense.
What happened
You had
right
weak
now?
arguments.
But
The
what
few
about
times you
right
actually
now?
spoke on something,
Bro,
it was
bro,
basically
what about right
weak
now?
arguments at
What
best.
about right
You
now?
wasted
What
your
about today?
time and you wasted
What
my
about
time in
today?
this debate.
But what
You
about
don't
today?
know. You have
You're not even
no.
going to
You
answer
have
about today,
no
because
basis
today
of
you can
anything
still
you stated.
you
What you did
yourself
was
are not
you
in that
act a
position now.
fool.
You
That's what you did.
yourself have
You
built
came on here
businesses.
to act a fool, and you're mad, and now you're
The
triggered. You're
reason why
mad
you don't
and
want to
triggered.
talk
Now,
about it
and
is
you're
because it
mad and
doesn't fit
triggered.
the
And when you get mad and
narrative
triggered,
that you
you start singing and acting like a
feel
goddamn
it should
fool.
be.
That's what you
And
did.
that's the problem is
You're
because your
embarrassing yourself,
feelings
son.
aren't
Can
gratified
you
and
please quit
mollified
embarrassing
and
yourself?
pacified. So therefore, you just wanted to
Nobody was
speak.
pacified.
Yes,
Who was
no. I said
pacified?
your feelings have been
No, my
not being
feelings are not
pacified.
pacified.
Yeah, I know it's
My
not. It's the
feelings are the
reason why
fact
you're
that
spilling forth with all this
I
verbal
am debating
diarrhea out
against
your mouth.
someone that has
You're
no
literally
business
going like
debating
a
with me
duck's ass at this
because you
particular
don't
point. And you're
understand
not
how to
even making
debate.
any salient
What
points.
you did
You
was
just basically just
you
want to
came in
just
here to
spout out
act a
your
fool
feelings.
because
That's
you
all it
don't
comes
have
down
a
to.
knowledge
If
base.
anything
You
was
don't have a
what black
knowledge
people wanted
base.
to
You
do,
don't know
they
what you're
could have done
saying.
it had
You
they
don't know what
chosen
you're
to do
doing.
so.
All you
But
know how to do is
unfortunately,
run after
because they kept
non-black
following
women.
the Dago,
You don't,
they
and you're going
chose
back to the
destruction.
Dago and Maggle stuff,
They
but you're acting
chose
like a
destruction.
faggle, a
But
person who is
you're just a maggle.
irresponsible
You
that
act like
thinks
the
that he can
Dago, your
find
mama.
refuge
So
in
that's what you're
another
doing.
system with
You do a
another
whole
group of
bunch of
people.
deflection.
You're
You
a
do a whole
faggle.
bunch of
You're crazy. You don't make
gaslighting,
sense.
just like
You
a
wasted my time,
female,
and you also
and the
wasted
worst
the chat
kind of
time to
female
see
at that.
you
The
not know
Dago.
what you're
You
doing.
can't
You
even
make no
answer a simple
sense, sir.
question, right?
Sir,
Hell,
can you
you
please
can't
come up
even
with something
pronounce
that makes
words
sense?
correctly. You
Can
can't
you
even say
please
the word.
come up
Say it
with
with me.
something?
Say it with me. Moynihan.
Sir, can you
Moynihan.
please come up with
Say it
something
with
that
me.
makes
Moynihan.
sense? Can
Moynihan.
you please make sense?
Say
You're not making sense,
say
sir.
real quick.
You're
Moynihan.
not making
Moynihan.
any sense.
Say
You're trying to be
come
funny
on.
and you're
Say
not
Moynihan.
even
Come on.
funny.
Say
You
it. You
wasted
can
your
do it.
time and you
You can
wasted
do it.
my
You can do
time.
it. Say it.
Can you please say something that is
Say it.
adult
Come on.
worthy?
Say it.
Can you
Say
please
it.
say something adult
Say it.
worthy? Can
Say
you
it.
say something of adult
Say it. Say
worthiness?
Moynihan.
Can you do that?
Say Moynihan.
Can you please do that?
Say
Can you
Moynihan.
please do
Or
it, sir?
use the
You
word
can't. You know why? Because you're
ineptitude and
incapable of it. You're
aptitude
a
correctly in a
dumbass.
sentence,
You're a
in two
faggle.
sentences.
You
Can you
don't
do
make
that
any
for me,
sense.
please?
You wasted my
Come
time and
on,
you
man. You
wasted
can
the
do this.
chat time.
I know you
You
can.
came here to
See,
giggle
for
and
someone
joke,
who was
and you're not
trained
even funny.
in
Who
this
laughed
particular
at your
field
jokes?
where you
Who
have to
laughed at
talk,
your jokes, sir?
unfortunately,
Who
you are
laughed
not
at
doing
your
it very
jokes?
well.
Nobody
It
laughed at your
shows
jokes
that
because the
anyone that you
jokes
have
were
to
not funny.
communicate with,
Sir, could you please talk
unfortunately,
about the
are
topic
not
at
going to be
hand?
able to get the kind of help
What
they
you
really
want to do
need
is yell and
because you can't
argue and
even
make
use
a
linguistic
spectacle of yourself.
precision
You're
correctly.
not in a position to argue me. You're
See,
not on my
because again,
level.
like you
And
do
last but
with
not
anything
least,
else,
you're
just
not
like the
even
Dago, you
you're
just
not
go
even
on
cultured.
and on,
You're
just
not
like the
even a cultured
Energizer
person.
Bunny. You just
You are
keep
a
going
clown.
and
You are
going
a coon coon and you are a clown.
and going and going and going and going. He said, "I'd like to see this debate take place in real life, where both would need to take whiskey shots every 2 minutes."
Yeah, for your ass.
Oh, all right. All right, we're going into closing statements. We left off with well, we started off with the opening statements with Brother A Truism, so we'll start the closing statements off with Brother D.DERRELL. 3 minutes on the clock. Brother D.DERRELL, you are up, sir. Closing statements. Pull the trigger.
All right. Thank you again. I very much enjoyed what was supposed to be a debate. But in order to have a debate, the opposing party has to come with clarity. He has to come with facts. He has to come with a reputable idea, per se. Unfortunately, it was not done. I don't know what he was trying to debate. Nothing that he stated was actually relevant or germane to the topic. But he did entertain us. Yes, he sung and danced and cooned around and tap danced, and he showed a smile with big eyes, bucking and so forth. And I guess that was for the entertainment of the folks in the chat here. But nothing he said was relative to the topic. He made no sense. Um, I don't know what he was trying to prove, but he made an ass of himself once again. So again, in finality, my goal was to debate the existence of systematic racism. I basically chronologized the fact that this has happened historically since our ancestors stepped foot on this continent, and it's still evident to today. I kind of highlighted certain things. I highlighted certain areas, as such as education, the prison industrial complex, the judicial system. I also talked about things in regards to finances and obtaining resources. I also talked about how systematic racism has allowed the majority culture to run roughshod in causing harm to Black people. And I used Tulsa, Oklahoma as a primary example of how that occurred, because last time I knew, nobody from that situation got arrested or were held accountable, including the state or that local government or city. And the brother irresponsibly talked about the fact of why didn't they learn. First of all, before that incident happened, there were ongoing issues of houses being burnt down and other businesses in which they rebuilt those businesses. Could they have had a better security type system or whatever in place? Well, we got to understand that during that time, there was no resources to be obtained to solidify a militia, quote unquote, to protect the businesses. It was a city that was victimized by domestic terrorism. Nor did we have planes to shoot the planes down that dropped the bombs and so forth on the city or the town. So I don't know what this brother's thinking about. And he just was not prepared to debate me, and he doesn't know how to debate, but he's good at being a clown. So again, thank you so much. This was not a debate, because sometimes you cannot debate against yourself.
All right. 3 minutes on the clock. Brother A. Truism, you are up, sir. Closing statements. Pull the trigger.
Okay. As is mostly the case in regards when you're dealing with the functionally retarded, they think that they're much more intelligent than what they are, and they usually maybe if you follow along the spectrum of autism, usually Asperger's, they usually stay with the same kind of patterns day in and day out. They don't like change too much. They get violent and they freak out when some things come like this, which is the reason why he keeps hashing up the same old chestnuts of what happened in slavery. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. When I actually gave actual rebuttals to that particular point, he diverted from those particular points that I said and just went right back to something that happened in the past. What I'm dealing with is, I did not say that it did not exist. I'm 100% sure, yes, it did. And I said that earlier. What I'm saying is, does it really exist now when you actually have a justice system in many places that are Democrat run, that allow criminality to run rampant? You say that it's a system that is designed to keep us systematically down. Here's one system that has been going in place, and it didn't need white folk to go on. Matriarchal, dysfunctional households. And white men didn't have nothing to do with that. Well, I mean, I guess if you want to call the Emancipation Proclamation something they did with it, because unfortunately, that particular report, it cut off the dagger from her main source of affection, which is the white man, and forced her to be in a relationship with a man that she despised for nothing more than the fact that he was not white. See, you cannot have anything successful in terms of a community if the basic unit of said community is dysfunctional. If the family unit is flawed, if you are building your house on sand, when the storms of life come, you will only have a disaster. See, in the Moynihan report, actually, it was actually noted by Moynihan that middle class Black families actually maintained their cohesion and they retained the resources because they valued them more. It's only lower class niggas that allowed destruction to go about.
Thank God.
All
Thank the
right.
Lord.
That's going to bring our debate to a close. So now we go to the polls. Y'all know what to do. If you believe D.DERRELL won the debate, vote for D.DERRELL. If you believe A Truism won the debate, vote for A Truism. And you have another challenger. God damn. He's starting to come out of the woodworks now, boy.
Oh Lord.
You have another challenger, brother D.DERRELL.
Oh Lord. Okay.
You have another challenger.
And the only reason why I came
waiting
up was
in the
because
wings.
you just basically you just seemed like you were just bored and I know you wanted to play. I know the whole thing. Shout out to SKC. You know, eat, sleep, fight, bust, and fight is also a terms of play and terms for animals. So I know you needed that. So I gave you entertainment. I gave you your bone. I let you play around with it. I let you throw you around. I tossed you the bone for you. You brought it back to me. I wrestled with you a little bit to let you get your exercise because I know. I know you Maggles need that. I know you need it. I know you need it.
Maggles, huh?
I know you need it. Yes,
Spoken like a true faggle.
I know you need it. I know.
Yeah.
Because
Faggles need
unfortunately,
to entertain.
in the Daggleverse, I know that you don't really get that much
Faggles need to
entertainment and you don't
entertain.
get that much attention.
Faggles
So
need to
therefore, I
entertain.
know that's why you need it. So I let you have
Faggles need to entertain.
I let you play around with it and just have a good time. Just
Faggles.
I get it. I know.
Yeah.
I know
Spoken like a true faggot.
I know you're mad. I know you're mad. I know
Spoken
it.
like a true faggot.
Because you can't say nothing more than just a faggle because you don't
No,
even know
I
how to
mean,
spell it.
you
Can you
are a
spell it?
faggot.
Can you spell it? Can you spell it?
Faggles are
Can you spell it?
entertaining.
Can you spell it?
Faggles are
Can you spell it?
entertaining.
Can you spell it?
Faggles are
Can you spell it?
entertaining.
Can you spell it?
You love to be repetitive. Oh, here we go.
This is
Go ahead,
me
sing some
here,
more.
D.DERRELL.
Yeah,
I just
sing
got one question for you, and I need you to answer true. When I ask you this one question, can you spell? Can you spell it? Spell faggle. Spell it.
Are we going to talk about the topic?
Can you spell it? The topic is, can you spell it? That's the topic. Can you spell
who invented the word.
That's the
I
top. Okay.
invented the
So
word.
now
What are you talking about?
it's even worse. See,
I invented the word.
I said it last time. It's crazy that someone who is engaged in an occupation that engages
the word.
in linguistic precision, and unfortunately,
it
you do
amazes
not
me.
have that. You
No,
can't
you don't
even
know what
construct.
I have.
I just saw it
You
right
don't
here.
know what I
You
have.
can't even use the word aptitude correctly in sentence.
Yes, no, I corrected you. What are you
You
talking
can't
about?
even use the word
No,
aptitude
you can't
correctly
use
in
the
a
word
sentence.
aptitude because
I
you don't know what it
literally just
means.
gave you the
No, you
definition of
did
it,
not.
and then when I
the
was giving it to
definition was
you,
in line with what I
in the
stated.
definition with
Brother,
what I was telling you,
brother,
you didn't want to
need to
accept it
increase your
because the
vocabulary.
reason
You
and
need to
how
know
I
how
used
to.
it,
I mean,
the
it's more. You
reason,
want to cite
the
big
reason
words, but you
you're
don't
in
know what they
trouble
mean.
is because if you're in that field and you don't know how to
You
talk,
are a
you are going to
clown.
get somebody in
You
a
are a
whole
clown.
world of trouble. And I mean,
Okay, man.
come with
Continue
me
to be a coon. Go
and
ahead.
you'll
Continue to
see
cooning.
a whole world of strag indoctrination. Take a look and you'll see it's the only valid education. We'll begin with a spin, traveling through a world of degradation. What you find will define explanation. That's what you on, Negro.
Okay, now you finished. Thank you. You
You are
finished.
so
Can you
far
stick to the
gone into the
topic?
Daggleverse.
What's faggot? Can you stay
But
on
I
topic?
just got through telling you what the topic
Faggot,
is.
can
Spell
you
it.
stay
I
on
said spell
topic?
it.
Can you spell Daggle?
Can you spell it? Yes,
Just like
DAGGLE.
I invented
Spell it. So
the
now,
word.
I just did
Look
it.
it
Can
up.
you spell
I
it? Spell
invented the
faggot.
word.
Spell faggot.
I
Spell it.
invented
Spell
the
it.
word.
Spell it. Spell it. Spell it.
He played the song where I actually spelled the word. I don't need to spell it for you.
Spell it.
I don't need to.
Spell it. Spell it.
I don't need to.
Say Moynihan.
He played the
Say
song.
Moynihan.
He played
Say
the song.
Moynihan.
He played the song.
Moynihan.
I'm not going to be playing words. Play with
Moynihan. Say Moynihan.
Can you spell
say
defeat?
Moynihan.
Because you've been defeated.
Can you say Moynihan?
When you quit acting like a child. You're acting like a child. We're not debating that. We're debating the topic.
Moynihan. Say it. More. You got it right there with
in
French.
You go.
Say
We're
moi.
supposed to talk about the topic.
All you got to do is just do.
You want to be funny? Okay, go ahead and be funny.
Go ahead and say
Nobody's laughing at you.
You can do it. I think there's a lot of people laughing like hell right now. Well, go ahead.
Yeah,
go
people
ahead.
that's on your people that like you and support your ignorance,
bro. But you can't say it.
Yes, I can.
Spelled
I've
the word
already
dagger.
stated it.
No, you said morning ham. You said morning ham. Mana ma'am.
No, I did not say no morning ham. What are you talking about?
You said
no,
morning ham.
No,
I
said morning ham report.
Morning. It's not morning ham. It's morning ham. Morning.
What are you talking about? I did pronounce the word correctly.
No, you said morning ham.
Brother, listen. Either your
ham.
ears are stopped up, you can't hear.
No. Just the problem is that I use ears,
brother. Can you please?
And I have a fully functioning cerebellum, and that's your problem. That I can actually hear what I hear.
Brother. No,
unfortunately,
you don't know what you're talking
about. You got the
about.
stumble tongue, bro, and it's okay.
No, you don't know how. You don't know how to use words. You tried to use big words.
Unfortunately,
and then when I asked you to talk about what they mean, you got stuck.
And when I showed you what the definition
you didn't
was
show
and how I used it correctly.
No, I used the word correctly. You didn't know what you were doing.
You used it out of
You didn't know what you were doing.
And you didn't understand.
You didn't know what
that
you
I
were
actually
doing.
used the word properly when I used it.
We're supposed to be talking about
who's
the
supposed to be talking
racism.
to people for a
okay,
living.
if you're not going to talk about systematic racism, I'm going to be
words
quiet. Go ahead.
Correctly. Good. Please do. But I don't think you can because the bitch is strong in you. I know you can't do it. I know you can't. And it's burning up in you. I know it is. I'm in your heart. I'm in your soul. I'll be your breath as you grow old. I'm in your head. And the words I'm saying to you, because you know I'm telling you the truth. It's a sad, sad day when a man who literally bragged about the many years of his expertise in the field that involves conversation is so bad at it. Tell me,
finished now?
How is anyone able to get help
finished?
from you?
Are we going to debate? Are we going to debate the topic? Are you going to come here and try to do the insults that have nothing to do with the topic?
Minute. I thought you said you were going to be done. I thought you said you weren't going to talk if I wasn't going to say anything about the topic.
I waited till you. I waited for you to be quiet.
You didn't say anything about that. You told me if I wasn't going to talk
to
the subject, that you were going to be quiet.
But you can't be quiet.
I know what it is because
you're a clown, brother.
I told you.
You're a clown.
You can't bite my style because my style is a style. It is a style.
You proved to be a clown, and you wasted my time.
No.
I should have waited till somebody else came.
I got the clown shoes on because I know that I'm going to be clowning.
Oh my God!
That's why. See,
okay.
What happened here is, unfortunately, you're not mentally agile enough to keep up. And
no,
I get it.
Actually,
it's
you're
fine.
not mentally agile
That's
to keep
okay
up. I'm not going to waste my time dealing with
I understand,
foolishness.
brother. I understand. I get it, man. So I get it. You want to talk to people at your own level because that's the only people that you can help. The daggle.
You're not in my level.
The hoes that you love, the single mamas, and
you're
the
not
and the
ran
through
level.
That come
You're
to
not
you
on my
help.
level, son.
You're right.
You're not on my
I'm
level.
right. I've gotten
never
out of
will be.
kindergarten a very long time ago. I've gotten away
brother.
from coloring
Brother, you
books
don't even know
and
how to
snap
debate.
time
You
and
don't know how to
juice
debate.
and
You came
graham
here to make
crackers.
you
I've gotten
came
away
here
from that
to
a
make
very
jokes.
long time ago.
You don't know how to debate. You came
Because
here to make
you
jokes.
are a joke. There's nothing
No,
that
you are the
have
joke.
ever said
You
that is
came here to run
anywhere
your
has
mouth,
any
and you're not
kind
even
of
talking on the
salience,
topic.
that has any
Can
kind
we
of
stay on the
sapience,
topic,
that
man?
has any
Okay,
kind
I'm
of
gonna
relevance,
let you
that
talk
have
by
any
yourself.
kind of value in terms of linguistics, because you can't say words right, in terms of actual thought and cognition, because unfortunately you're a little slow. I gotta wonder, how the hell did you actually get to the board, past the doggone board review, if you can't even talk correctly?
Sir,
So
I
because
can't talk correctly,
if
and
you
I
can't
actually
talk
talk more
correctly,
correct. You
if you
can't
can't
even talk
talk correctly,
correctly.
then that
You
means
can't
that you
talk
can't
correctly. You
even
don't even
think
know the
correctly.
words that
So
you're
if you
saying.
can't even
You
think
can't even
correctly,
you
then
can't talk
unfortunately,
correctly.
how are
Just
you able
because
to
I
help
misspoke
anybody?
on
And
one word, you
it
gonna sit
wasn't
and say
one
what
word,
somebody
sir.
can do?
It was
You need to
several
sit
words
your
that you spoke.
bitch ass down
That's what the
somewhere and
problem
quit
was.
acting a goddamn fool.
Ooh.
Yeah, so now because you're a fucking clown. That's what the fuck you are. You're a clown. You are a clown.
Oh, damn.
You
That
are
was
a
a spicy
clown.
one. Oh,
Yeah, you're a
yeah, I'm
clown. You
loving that
didn't
one.
come here to
Yeah,
debate.
come
You
on with it.
came
Come
here
on,
to act a
come
goddamn
on,
fool.
Cletus. Come on with it.
Oh my god, man,
Don't let
this
the
is
gray hair
ridiculous,
fool you,
man.
nigga. It ain't gonna be an easy
Oh, you
win.
got gray hair? Okay.
Don't
Oh,
let the gray
really?
hair fool you, nigga. It ain't gonna be an easy
I
win.
bet, faggle.
That's right.
I bet,
Can you spell
faggle.
it?
No,
Can you spell it?
yes,
Can
I
you spell
can
it?
spell
Can you
it.
spell it? Go ahead,
Yes,
spell
I
it.
can
Spell
spell
it.
it. No, I'm
Spell
not
it.
gonna spell
Spell
it
it.
for you.
Spell it. Spell it. Spell it.
Oh my
Spell it.
god.
Spell it. Spell it. Spell it.
Okay.
Spell it. Spell it. Spell it. Spell it.
Okay.
Spell it. Spell it. Spell it.
This
Spell it. Spell
this
it.
is what the
And you can use
debates
this.
have been.
You
This is
can
what
use
the
this as the track.
this is
You
what
can use this
debates have
now.
been.
I give you
This is
permission to
what
use this.
debates have been
I
reduced to now.
give you permission to use this. You can
This
use it.
is
Spell
what
it.
debates have been
Spell it.
reduced to.
Spell it. Spell it.
Well,
Spell it.
Okay.
actually, the debate's
Spell
over.
it.
Debate's
Spell
over.
it. Spell it. Spell it. Spell it. Spell
But you
it.
do have a new challenge.
Spell it. Spell it. Spell
Man,
it. Spell
I'm
it.
gonna have to
Come on.
pass on
Spell
this
it.
one, X. I
Spell it.
can't deal with stuff like
Spell
this.
it.
This
Spell it.
guy
Spell
here
it.
is
Come
ridiculous.
on. Spell it. Come on. Spell it. Spell it. Come on. Spell it. Brick it. Spell it. Come on. Spell it. 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 Come on. I'll even use your beat. Nigga, you can spell it. 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 Nigga, you can spell it.
All right.
Thank the Lord. That's finally over with. Thank you.
Now we go to the
Oh my God.
polls. To the polls. All right. And your challenger has arrived, Brother D.DERRELL. All right, let me just copy and paste the poll results. Can y'all see the poll results in the chat? Can y'all see those? Or am I the only one who can see them?
Oh, yeah. I saw it. I already knew that already.
All right. Bring up your next challenger. Brother Trey is here.
Oh Lord. Lord.
Gulag gang.
Oh,
Gulag
my
gang.
God.
All right. I'm about to post the results so everybody can see them for
Lord.
themselves.
Another faggle. Oh
The ones
Lord.
who couldn't see them in
Nigga, you can spell it. Nigga, you can
chat.
spell it. Nigga, you can spell it. Nigga, you can spell it. I wish I had the beat, I had the sample of the beat right. I had everyone right back in the background, and it'd probably be a hell of a lot better than what you put out before. Maggle.
All
Nigga,
right.
you can spell it. Nigga, 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 you
These
can
are the
spell it.
results.
Nigga, you can spell it.
Who won the debate?
You can spell it.
A truism,
Nigga, you can spell it.
69%.
Nigga, you
D.DERRELL,
can
30%.
spell it.
Poll
Nigga,
complete,
you can spell it.
20
Nigga, you can
votes.
spell it. Nigga, you can spell
All right.
it. Nigga, you can't spell it. Nigga, you
So
can't spell it.
those
Nigga, you
are
can't spell
the
it.
results.
Nigga, you can't spell it. Nigga, you
So,
can't spell it.
what's good, Brother Trey? I'm assuming you're here to challenge Brother D.DERRELL, and what are we debating?
All right, what's going on? Can you hear me good, Brother X?
It sounds like he got a struggle phone, brother.
Kind of fading in and out a little bit. Fading in and out a little bit.
Yo, test. Okay, give me a second.
Still.
Here. How about now?
A little better.
Yeah,
a little better.
Struggle phone.
So what are we debating?
Yeah, I'm on the road right now, so it'll be a little bit choppy here. But basically, my suggestion is this: the matriarchy of the last 60 years has turned an educated class of black men into a bunch of just raging victims.
Oh my God! Is that the debate?
I mean, it's up to him.
Is that? Are you really going to debate something you can't prove? Really?
Yes
Or is
no.
that just an opinion? Can you prove
Yes
that?
or no?
Can
Yes
you
or
prove
no?
it? Can you prove
Yes
it?
or no?
Can you prove it?
What did I say? My hypothesis.
No. Can
black
you prove
men, educated
it?
black
No, brother. You can, how can you measure that? Trey,
yes
can
no?
you measure that?
Yes
Can
or
you
no?
measure it, and can you prove
Yes
it?
or no? This is a debate.
No. I'm asking a question. I'm
Yes or
asking
no?
you.
You
You
have
came up with the
cojones, yes
dumb
or no?
statement. You
Yes
came
or
with
no?
the
Do you have
dumb
cojones?
question, and
There
I'm asking
is
you.
no
Can
emotion
you
right now.
measure it, and can
Yes
you
or no?
prove it?
All
No.
right,
Can
that's
you
the
measure
topic.
it, and can you prove it?
That's
You
it.
can't.
That's all I
That's
gotta
what I
say.
thought.
Will
You
you
can't measure it,
yes or no?
and you can't prove it.
Nigga,
You can't measure it, and you can't
rage
prove it.
quick. You can rage
Nigga,
quick.
you
We can do
No.
this without you, bro.
You have a
Nigga, you
struggle
can
phone.
We
We
can do
spell
can't
this
it.
even
without
hear.
you.
We can't
Nigga,
even
you
hear
can
you.
spell it. Aye.
We can't
Nigga,
even hear
you
you.
can spell it. Aye.
Hey, we can
Nigga,
do
you
this
can
without you.
spell it. Aye.
No, we can't hear you.
Can spell it. Aye. Nigga, you can spell it. Aye.
We can do this
Nigga, you
without you, bro.
can
We
spell it.
can do it
Aye.
with you or without
We
you.
can
Nigga,
do
you
this
can
without
do this.
you.
Aye. You
You don't
can
even make
spell it.
sense.
Aye.
So
Nigga,
Your
you
question
can
didn't even
spell it.
make
Aye.
sense.
are we debating?
Hey, I
Yeah.
already said
Yay,
it. Yes or no?
yay or nay? Are we debating? Yay or nay?
His question made no sense, and no
It's not a question.
matriarchal system.
It's not a
The
question.
answer is no. The answer is no. Now,
There you
you're
go. Are you
satisfied?
gonna debate it or what? Are you gonna debate it or what?
It's
There's
nothing.
you
You
say
can't.
no. Okay, you're
Why
debating the
would I
negative.
debate?
Then
Why
do it.
would I
Nigga, grab your
debate
nuts and
something
do
you
it. Nigga,
can't
grab your
measure?
nuts and do it.
You're
Nigga, grab
asking
your
me.
nuts and
You're
do it. Stop being
asking
a
me
little
to
bitch,
debate
boy.
something you
Come on,
can't
boy.
even
Don't stop
prove.
being a little bitch.
You
Come on,
can't
prove
prove,
your
and you
Houston
got a struggle
swag.
phone. Get a
Come
new
on,
phone.
Houston swag.
You
Come
can't
on,
even.
Houston.
You
Are,
can't even
are
debate
you
something
going?
you can't prove.
Are you going to debate him or
All
not,
right,
brother
all right, all right.
D.DERRELL?
The phone. I can't even understand what he's saying. Get a new phone.
So are we
Shit.
Yes or
What
debating?
the hell
no?
you coming up here with that
Are we
shit?
debating or not?
Yes or no?
Debate what? What is there to debate?
I will
So
state
that's
it
no.
again. The matriarchy has turned the educated class of black men into a bunch of raging victims.
Raging victims based on what? I'm asking question.
Are we debating or what?
No.
If you
Based
scared
on
by a
what? I'm
dog, bro,
asking.
if you
Can you
scared
give
by
me
a
the
dog,
basis?
Again,
bro,
There's
if
again,
you
nothing
X.
to
scared
be.
I
by a
There's
wanna
dog,
nothing to be.
X.
This
I
is
wanna
this
thank
is
you
a
for having me
ludicrous
on.
debate. Are you
Absolutely.
serious?
Absolutely.
This is a ludicrous. Now,
Anytime, brother.
we can have a discussion, but
I
I'm not
thank you for
having. I'm
tolerating
not
my
debating
my
on
my
that.
insanity for for whatever it was. I
We can
appreciate
discuss it,
your
but I'm
patience
not
with that.
debating something
I'll
you
see
can't
you
put it
in
even
on the
the
prove.
clock.
All
You
right.
Put it on
can't
the
Peace,
even.
clock.
brother
You can't even prove it.
Put
Based
it on the
on what?
clock.
Based on what, brother?
Put it on the clock, X.
Trey, can you prove
Put
anything
it on
you're
the clock,
saying?
X. Bro, I ain't got nothing to say to you
Can
until
you
the
prove
debate's
it?
going.
That's
Put it
what
on the
I
clock.
thought. You can't prove
Put it on the clock.
You can't prove anything you're saying.
All right, Brother Xavier, I don't have no time for maggles. I just say put it on the clock.
First of
Either
all,
you
you
doing
need to
it,
get
yes or
can
no?
you get a better phone?
Yes or no? Put it on
Can
the
you
clock.
get a better phone?
No, there's no time for that
Can you
effeminate
get
stuff
a
acting
better
like your
phone?
mama. Put it
Trey,
on the clock,
just
Brother
like
Xavier.
where's your
Start the
mother?
clock.
Where's your mother?
Start
I
the
grew up
clock.
with both of
Oh,
my parents. Did you grow up with both
Start
of
the clock.
yours? Did you
Start
have
the
both
clock.
of your parents?
we debating or
Start the
not?
clock.
Did you have both of your
Start the
parents?
clock.
Did
Hey,
you
you start the clock, and I'll
do you
lead
have
off.
both of your parents?
I'll lead off, Brother Xavier.
That's what I thought. You didn't have them. You grew up in a
I'll
matriarchy.
I'll lead off,
I
Brother
never
Xavier.
grew up in a matriarchy, so I don't know what you're talking about. What are you talking about? You grew
Hey,
up
you just gotta
father, not me.
You just
It's
gotta
not
fire
my
up the
fault,
clock.
brother. I can't be your father, brother. I'm sorry.
You just gotta
I'm
fire up the
sorry
clock,
you went
Brother
without
Xavier.
yours. I'm sorry you went without yours. I'm sorry. Look, my heart goes out to you.
Are you done?
That wasn't the case for me.
Hey,
That
just
wasn't
fire
the
up the
case for
clock.
me. I'm sorry you didn't have yours, and
So what do
you're another one.
So what are we doing here? I mean,
Hey, all you gotta do is turn the clock on. I'll lead off.
what are we doing here? Are we doing this, brother D.DERRELL, or not?
Nah, we're not gonna do it because he hadn't answered my
Okay.
question.
Well, he doesn't want to debate, so there it is.
So
He couldn't answer the
you
question.
can just chalk it up to me. You know what I'm saying? Because
It's nothing to
hold on,
chalk
hold on,
up because
hold on.
you didn't answer my
D.DERRELL,
question.
can you stop
didn't
talking?
answer the question.
D.DERRELL, stop
No,
talking for a minute, bro.
you answer the question?
D.DERRELL,
Can you
D.DERRELL,
answer the
chill,
question?
Keach,
Can
stop,
you
bro.
answer the question?
Bruh, chill.
No, you the one came in here
All right,
saying,
brother
listen,
brother
so
Xavier,
I asked
either
you a
put it on the
question.
clock or nothing. I'm not.
No,
No, we're
answer the
not doing
question.
this. If
Can
you
you
want to
answer the
moderate it,
question?
brother
No, can
Xavier,
you
you
answer
can
the
moderate it,
question?
but it will be on the clock
Answer
and he
the
will be muted.
question.
I'm not
Can
dealing
you
with
answer the
emotional
question?
mangle stuff.
I'm letting you speak. Can you answer the question? Can you prove it?
Brother Xavier,
You
put it on
can't
the
prove
clock
it.
and we do this.
Can you prove it?
Put it on the clock, brother Xavier.
Yeah, well, he said he doesn't want to do it, so
Hey, we'll have a moderated discussion on the clock. But here's the deal.
We can have a moderated discussion.
Okay, but here's
on
the deal.
clock.
You
10
shut
minutes.
the fuck up when I'm
I'm gonna
talking.
give you 10
Goddamn.
minutes. I'm gonna give you
No,
10,
you shut the fuck
10
up
minutes.
while I'm talking.
No,
Since
you
you don't
shut
want
the
to have a
fuck
debate.
up. You the
God
one
damn,
coming
it's
in here
emotional
with a
stuff.
discussion you can't prove.
Oh my God.
A
Get the
discussion
fuck
you
out of
can't
here, bro.
prove.
Put it on the
No,
clock.
you get the
Put it
fuck
on
out
the
of here.
clock.
You the one coming up. You
Put it
came
on
to
the clock,
debate
bro.
me. I didn't come to
Put it
debate
on
you.
the clock.
We can have a moderated
Hey,
discussion.
anybody in the chat want it?
Brother X.
Anybody in the chat want it?
Brother X.
So
Since
We
what
he's
can
are
have a
scared.
what are we
moderated
doing?
discussion for 10. We can have a moderated discussion on the clock.
So what are we
Hey,
doing?
hey, just put it on the
Moderated
clock.
discussion on the clock.
You can give me the opening and daggone
Moderated discussion on the
because
clock.
he's scared of it. He's scared of it.
Moderated discussion on the clock.
You're scared, bro.
No, I'm not scared. I asked you to prove it, and you can't.
You're scared, bro. You don't. This is a
I'm not
debate.
scared. Scared of what?
It's not
I'm
how
scared.
debates work.
I'm scared of an
Keisha
avatar.
DERRELL.
I'm
This
scared
is
of a.
not
I'm scared of a
how.
truck
This is not how
driver
debates
avatar.
work, bro.
Go.
Here it
You
is.
drive trucks. You
Here
think
it
I'm
is,
scared
bro.
of a truck driver?
Here
You
it is,
can't
bro. This is
intellectually
how
hold up to
debates
me. What you
work.
did? You came up with a red pill related topic. Negro, that's the best you can do. A red
Hey, if
pill
you're scared,
topic.
say you're scared, bro.
The
If you're
matriarchy,
scared, say you're scared.
created educated wimps.
Bro,
The matriarch created
no,
educated.
an
Nigga,
educated
stop
class
that
of
shit.
victimhood.
Nobody talk like that. But you, nigga, this is what you eat and sleep. You came up here just for that? Are you serious? And then the other fool that came up here.
Hey, we
I
ain't talking
remember
about
this
you,
man.
bro.
Now we got this new breed of faggots that they're about entertaining people now and no
Bro, call
substance.
the man out by his
At
name.
least in the past,
You know what I'm saying? You're like, hey,
I'll give
back up here.
SKC this.
Smoke for
I'll
you.
give SKC this. Me and him may not agree with
Nah,
nothing, but
bro.
we can have
SKC
a
ain't here, bro.
conversation
SKC ain't
without
here.
people acting the guy.
No, bro. You scared.
Now we got Negro like you and this other.
You scared, bro.
Y'all clowns.
You're scared.
That's what you are.
Here's the deal, bro. You're a victim. You are a victim, bro.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. All you people that are coming in here writing this undead chronic shit, maybe y'all don't know where the fuck y'all at. Quit writing that shit in my chat room. Quit writing it. I don't give a fuck if you don't like it, because if you don't like it, you can turn your motherfucking ass around and go right out the same door that you came in. All right? All right. Maybe you don't know where you are. Let me explain it to you. This is the T.P.O.T YouTube page. I run shit over here. You don't like the way it's ran? Exit. Anyway. So what are we doing?
Well,
yeah.
Well, I'll say it like this. Here's the deal. When I bring a topic that is basically you either can go one way or the other. Now, here's the deal. I can flip-flop and debate the negative because, it is what it is. Debate is debate. But I'm on the affirmative, and that's all it is. There is no can you prove it. No, that's what the content of the debate is.
Okay, so then you can't debate something you can't prove.
That is what the audience decides. Okay, hold on. D.DERRELL, can you stop talking?
You just lost your argument before the debate.
As I stated before, Brother Xavier. Okay, go for it. Put him on the clock. There you go. Prove it.
So why would I debate an argument
go
you
for
can't
it.
Not
prove?
going to.
I'm not debating an argument you can't prove. It's ridiculous. This has been these
All right,
clowns,
so
man.
Well, if,
Where do
hey,
you
well,
think
brother
they
if
come
Xavier,
you're
you
from?
not
could
going
just
to do it,
put me on the clock and I'll dip. You could just put me on the clock and I'll dip, and you know, I mean, this is
Trey. We've
okay.
been through
This
this
is
before.
okay, brother Xavier.
You
Put it on the
lost
clock.
then, and you lost.
Mute him
You
and put him
lost
on
in
the
the
clock.
past, and you'll lose
Moderated
again.
discussion.
You lost in the
Moderated
past, and
debate.
you'll
Come
lose
on,
again,
bro. Come on.
Trey. You
Keisha
lost in the
Darrell, come
past, and
on.
you're gonna lose again.
Okay.
You
Okay, brother
lost
Xavier, put it
again,
on the
and you're
clock.
gonna
This is just a
lose
discussion.
again. You lost in the past.
What the hell, bro?
Brother X, I appreciate it, man. I'm gonna go ahead and bail out, man. I'm you know, it's appreciate you for having me on,
Peace.
man.
Peace.
I definitely gonna
anytime,
support your
brother.
channel.
Anytime.
Definitely
Anytime.
donate to you, but I'm
Peace.
gonna go ahead and bail out for the night.
Dipset.
Anytime. Peace.
Peace out,
It's
Maggle.
All
D.DERRELL.
right, man. Appreciate it.
Moderators, start blocking these people. Just start blocking them. Don't even waste any time. Just block them. Just block them. I don't even know how they're getting past the bot. I guess I gotta tweak that up a little bit. I don't know how they're getting past it.
Yeah, I mean, there's no need, like, for even D.DERRELL to even go over there with Undead Chronic. Undead Chronic comes from a MGTOW space and with a highly different crowd, and it's just, you know, based on what A Truism said about D.DERRELL, which I'm not even gonna go into, it's no purpose. I came over here to debate Harvard style. Not only it is nigga shit, here it is. You put a subject out there, one debates the affirmative, one debates the negative. It's not all this, can you prove it? No, that's nigga shit. That's not how it goes down. It's never how it's going down on your channel. But here's the deal. If I may speak frank for a minute, since he ran, is that okay?
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. You got it.
And this is all basically my premise. My premise is this: we have a highly wink educated class of people that go to all these big name universities. You know, whether it's Ivy League, Big Ten, Pac-10, HBCUs, and all they've come out doing over the last 20 years is talking about slavery. Something in my time coming up that was never discussed in school, minus about a week. And then we was clowning slaves when Roots was on for a week. That's all it was. But now, all we hear from this educated class is, we was victims, we was slaves. Oh, they brought us over here in chains. My people, look here. None of these folks have any clue what went on 100 years ago. None of them. And most of these educated, I don't know, payasos, clowns, if you take them, you take D.DERRELL, freaking Keisha Darrell, I'll take him with me. You jump in the truck with me. We roll over the 5th Ward right now, Acres Homes, freaking 3rd Ward, and let's roll out. And let's see how scared you are. Let's see how up under me you are. Because these educated clown dudes don't understand what really goes on in this hood that they're caping for. They don't know that as soon as they go in there talking that nonsense, they fixing to get snatched up. But here's the deal. At the same time, the same people that will snatch them up, they will blame all these things like systemic this, systemic that. Oh, Jim Crow, we was redlined. But dudes that can't act right, for dudes that are perpetual criminals. And that criminal element has been led since 1965 when the whole matriarchy Moynihan report all freaking just went crazy. When Gloria Steinem basically made the handshake with black women to freaking be feminists forever. 60 years later, you have a society of black men who did nothing but cry about something they have no knowledge of. We were slaves. Man, nobody even knows the real history. The history has been so chopped and screwed. Nobody alive today knows that history. Nobody alive today is affected by that history. If your great-great-grandmother, who's about 112, still alive today, was affected by it, it still ain't affecting you. And it's a shame, straight up, that you got educated brothers claiming to drive Escalades and have businesses all over Texas talking about, I'm affected by, the ghosts of racism past because depression. And no, fuck out of here with that nonsense. You sound like a little bitch, Keisha Darrell. And that's why you didn't want to debate this topic. And it gets old hearing these educated niggas just keep coming up over and over. But I'm victim. It's slavery. No. Go out there and keep getting it where you're getting it. You eat good, you sleep good. If you go out there in the communities where y'all are caping for, they will eat you alive. They will slice you into pieces. spit you and spit out the bones.
Yeah,
And
well, I don't follow that terminology. I mean, I've been a black man in America for more than half of a century, and I know what racism is. I grew up in a very prejudiced place. I grew up in the suburbs of New York. So I'm very familiar with racism, but I don't think racism is under every rock, behind every door, under every rug, around every corner. I just don't believe that. I just don't believe it. Now, people will tell you that you're affected by, these racial systems and all this kind of shit. But I mean, shouldn't we be using that as a motivator as opposed to using it as a reason to fucking complain? Especially people who are actually successful in their lives. I mean, people who are successful in their lives, they're probably affected by racism the least. But it seems, and me and D.DERRELL talked about this last week. I said, hey, look, it appears that the people who are affected by racism the least are the ones who cry about it the most. It's like, I don't understand that for the life of me, because I don't think that these people who make the millions of dollars a year should be somewhere bitching about how oppressed they fucking are. I just don't think they are the best representatives of the racial suspect shit. I just don't think they're the best representatives. And you got these people who do well, all right, in their lives, but they're always talking struggle, they're always talking despair, they're always talking racism and bigotry and all that kind of bullshit. And these motherfuckers are living in their $1 million homes, and they got a fleet of fucking cars, and they got plenty of money, but they study trying to tell you how bad racism is, how bad it's affecting every fucking one. No, it's affecting every fucking one except your black ass, but you seem to be doing pretty good. So racism didn't stop you from making $1 million last year. So that's my problem with the whole racism rap with people.
yeah, and we can take it down to Red Pill Avenue. If Keisha Darrell brought up the fact that, all right, it's red pill topic, the matriarchy. All right, cool. Now, this whole black manosphere is built around Keish, the woman. That's it. All we hear about nonstop day to day is debating, narrating, getting her back to the table. How do we get him to act right? Black love, all that. Here's the deal. That woman that A-True spoke of is so masculine at this point. The only thing she will settle for is a victim. It's somebody who's coming in there with that weak ideology. If you come in there acting like a beast, she's gonna try and beast up on you. And then you know what you're gonna do? If you was raised in the community and under that whole victim narrative, you might capitulate to her. But if you a dude like me, you can be like, bitch, fuck you, I'm out. Just like I walked away cold turkey from my ex. And I didn't stick around for long throughout the whole I was always in and out. And I know a whole lot of brothers that are like that. Why should you? If you're a man, you want a woman. You don't want nobody to compete with you. And here's the deal. That same group of women in this community, he's talking, his matriarchy, has helped just continue this victim class. Because slavery, you're a victim. Oh, my feelings, I feel. That is the narrative of a victim. When a boy is born in 2022, in 1992, in 1982, you tell him he is a man and he is equal, go out there and get it. Right now, you're born. Guess what? Some people might have more than you. Oh, well, ain't nothing stopping you in the United States of America from going out there and getting it in. Motherfuckers is coming from freaking Sri Lanka, coming over here balling out with 2 cents in their pocket. Nothing will stop you. That's the message I told my son and any other dude that'll come to me. And that is the only message that a black father, whoever belongs, to that cult, should tell their sons. But instead, oh no, we got to teach CRT in schools. Slavery needs to be taught. Well, if in the mind of a 7-year-old, if you teach him that he was a slave, guess what? Now in his formative years, all he knows about is being a slave. Next thing you know, he's either out here committing murders or he's out here begging in the streets for some reparations for something he don't even know really even existed, truly. That is why Keisha Darrell ran from this. He knows he does not want that topic because then his own intelligence level would have to be put into question because he is a graduate from one of those HBCUs, Southern University, who just churns out anything. Not everybody that comes from those schools, but here's the deal. If you're a licensed psychotherapist, whatever, and you got businesses all over Texas and you're treating the kids of those said demon spawn I referred to before, why the hell are you up here complaining victimhood? Is that what you teach those kids? You take somebody from a single mama home, you bring them in your office and you sit them down. Are you going to tell them, hey, you know what? The reason why you commit that murder and stabbing other little kids is because you're a victim. Your ancestors were slaves. Yeah, it's not your fault. So guess what happens in Houston, in Harris County, where Keisha DERRELL is at? They lock these dudes up, they let them out on cash bail, and then they get out and they commit murder after murder after murder. Say it's cat, Keisha DERRELL.
It's crazy, man. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and shut it down, man. I've been on fucking up here since like 6:30, so this is stream number 2. Did a double header, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and shut it the hell down. I appreciate you coming through, brother, as always. I appreciate everybody for coming through tonight. D.DERRELL didn't want to take this debate, y'all. So make of that what you will. He didn't want to take it. And when we do the challenges, I leave it up to the person who does the challenge. Whoever they want to debate, they can. Whoever they don't want to debate, they don't debate them. I mean, that's if your name is on the challenge, you get to pick who you want to debate. So he didn't want to debate Brother Trey, so that's what it was. So
I'll come back in 2 weeks. We're just saying I'll go on the challenge block. I ain't been up in a while.
Okay, that'll work.
I'm off the road, yeah.
You know how we play it here, so.
All right, yeah, I'll email you when I let you know when I'll be off the road, brother. Salute.
All right, peace. Yeah, man, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. I don't know what the hell happened here tonight. We got a surge of motherfuckers coming in here not knowing where they are. I'm not a person who likes to censor speech. I'm all about free speech. But motherfuckers don't get to come in here and be disrespectful. All right? You don't get to come in here and be disrespectful. You don't get to come in here and disrespect the people on my panel, and you definitely don't get to come in this motherfucking disrespect me. All right? That shit ain't gonna fly. I don't give a fuck what color you are. Blue, green, black, orange, yellow with polka dots, pinstripes, rainbows down your fucking back. Motherfucker, you come in here and disrespect me, you done fucked up. You fucked up. All right? You have fucked up. Don't ever come in my fucking page and try to fucking disrespect me. Ever. Ever. Motherfucker, you got something to say? You hit me with an email. I drop you the link and you can bring your motherfucking ass up here and say it. I don't believe in motherfuckers hiding in the chat room being fucking disrespectful. That's why I throw them the fuck up out of here. Motherfucker, you got something to say, you can bring your ass right on up here and say it. And if you get disrespectful up here, guess what? You get thrown the fuck off of here too. That's how we do it over here. So if you're going to be over here, you best watch your motherfucking mouth. You best watch your keyboard. You best watch what the fuck you write. Notice the numbers over here are small. You know why? You know why they're small? Because over here, you got to already know what's good. That disrespectful shit does not fly in here. It does not. It does not. Now, I think I got to tweak my motherfucking bot a little bit because these motherfuckers were getting past it. Luckily, my wrenches were putting you motherfuckers to sleep. For good. Shout out. Shout out to my boy, Brother Supreme. That shit is hilarious, man, when he do that shit at the end, man, with fucking Dr. Umar. But yeah, man, don't come over here with that bullshit, man. Trust me, man, it's not gonna fly. It's not. It's not. Like I said, I do believe in free speech, but I don't believe in free disrespectful fucking speech. All right? Because when you come to T.P.O.T, you come into my motherfucking house. And I tell you right now, I'm a type motherfucker. You will never disrespect me on any motherfucking property that I own, man. You will not. You will not. You will not stand on my front porch. You will not stand at my shop. You will not sit in my fucking car. You will not stand on a property that I own up north. You will not be any motherfucking where disrespecting me. You won't. You won't. And if you're used to disrespecting people, you're in the wrong place. You are. Ask anybody. Ask anybody. You don't get disrespectful in my fucking chat room, man. You don't. Notice you came over here with that shit and you fucking disappeared. You can say what you want. You can say what you want. But don't be saying no motherfucking disrespectful shit to me, man, in my shit. Don't. Do not do it. All right? Do not do it. I don't give a fuck who they are, good mother. I don't give a fuck who they are. Leave that shit at the door when you come in here. Leave that shit at the door. That's why every single one of them motherfuckers got blocked. Go back over there with that shit. Don't do it here. Don't do it here. White boys, black boys, green boys, orange boys, whatever you are, don't do it here. Don't. But that's all, motherfuckers. But anyway, we about to wrap this up. Before we go, you know I gotta hit y'all with T.P.O.T's programming. All right. Like I said, we got a few good shows coming down the pipe. Tomorrow, y'all know that we play the ridiculous race game. Yeah. We have a pretty good lineup, man, coming through tomorrow, man. We got my man, brother BMT will be here. Also, the Radical Latino will be here. Survival, Lady Sunkiss will be here. Also, Lady Raw will be here. Y'all know the ridiculous race game. We come here, man. We talk about racism and bigotry and prejudice and discrimination, and we have a little fun. We play some games, man, and we have some laughs at racism's expense. So y'all know what it is. If you want to be on a future ridiculous race game, you know what to do. Just hit me on my email. It's properthought@yahoo.com. It's properthought, one word, no caps, at yahoo.com. And then Thursday, the one and only Lady Kendra D will be here from the Crimson Cure. That's going to be good. All right. I'm actually looking forward to speaking with Lady Kendra, man. It's been a while since we've spoken. Shit, it's been a few years since me and Lady Kendra have spoken. Yeah, she's coming in, y'all. And you know she's gonna come in here, man, dropping those gems like she always does. So make sure you're here for that one, man. Mark that one on your goddamn calendar, goddamn it. All right. All right. So with that, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it the hell up. I appreciate everybody for coming through tonight, man. I appreciate all the super chats and the cash apps. But more importantly, man, I appreciate your participation, man, more than anything else, man. You know, I'm humbled, I'm honored, I'm appreciative of all that shit, man. You know, I just am, folks. And shout out to brother J.I., brother A Truism, brother Trey, and who the hell else was up here? Who the hell else was up here? I think that was it. Yeah. And a big shout out to brother D.DERRELL, man. You know, D.DERRELL's a good sport. I disagree with like 60% of the shit he says, but goddamn it, D.DERRELL is a good sport, and he'll walk into the hornet's nest any goddamn time. So that much I admire about him, man. He will come here anytime, and you know, he doesn't have any fear of coming here. He notices a hostile environment for him specifically. He notices a tough crowd for him, but he'll show up every goddamn time. So I have to freaking respect that, if nothing else. All right. And before we go, you know, I gotta play D.DERRELL's theme song, right? You know, I have to play D.DERRELL's goddamn theme song.
Plane tickets. I got the 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 plane tickets.
Yeah, man. Shout out to fucking D.DERRELL, man. Oh, and D.DERRELL dropped some coins. I appreciate that, brother D.DERRELL, that 1999. He said, hey, bro, thanks. I will be back. I know you will. I know you will, man. Fucking D.DERRELL. He don't run from shit, man. He's not going to do. I appreciate that 1999, brother D.DERRELL. You get this. Uh-oh. A big coin drop on the platform. Appreciate that coin drop, brother D.DERRELL. It is appreciated, my brother. So yeah, man, we're gonna pack it up, man, and we're gonna get the hell out of here, man. I guess I will see y'all tomorrow on the ridiculous race game. Make sure you hear, y'all know we do the ridiculous race game, man. We do it kind of early. We do it at like 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. Eastern time. So come on through, man. We have fun, man. I mean, we have fun like a motherfucker, man. We just do. It's good fun. We have a few laughs. We have people of different races on there, and we make a mockery of some of this racist shit. We vacillate between talking serious and having some fun at the same time. So come on through tomorrow, man. And who knows, man? Maybe you can be a contestant on the ridiculous race game. Here's a preview, folks. Live from the T.P.O.T studios, the game where we talk about discrimination, prejudice, bigotry, with all of the absurd hypocrisies and contradictions that come with it. Get ready to play the ridiculous race game. Yeah, so it's going down tomorrow. So make sure you have your asses here. All right. All right. So with that, I will leave you good folk with 3 words, you know, like I always do.
Hours of power.
Debates. Open your minds.
Hours of power.
And so a community is where you control your police, you control your commerce, you control your education, you control your house. We don't control none of that. We live in a hood. Huh? Well, what about the Negroes that get out? Oh, well, see, my cousin, they say he's a multi-millionaire, almost got $1 billion. Three PhDs, working on 2 more. Driving down the street in Chicago in his Rolls Royce, enjoying himself, and he hear these sirens and look through the mirror and see this cop car flashing lights. He squeezed the steering wheel, man. Heart beats fast. Cause he knows the price of a Negro, what it could be. And then when that cop car passing by, he says, thank God he wasn't after you in the first place, Paul. That Negro thing you can't get away from. It's universal. They wasn't coming after you with all your millions, with your Rolls Royce, with your PhD, didn't help. That's the hood. Why do you think you never pick up the paper until you read over and over and see white families come? You think it's thousands of black cops in America. Why don't you see white families crying as black cops got my loved one 40 times in the back of the head? Why do you think black cops are better? You think they're more spiritual? Think they're better? No! They got enough sense to know that white folks ain't gonna tolerate it. And I will stop in our neighborhood when we decide we will not tolerate it. Now, if we was organized, which is hard to organize people who are just gonna run crazy and you don't know you're crazy. But if we were, with the money we have, and the many people who would come to our aid that don't know what it's like to be a Negro, and we said, if we said, look, we saying, if we don't get a federal law to deal with police brutality, that anytime a cop or anybody carry a gun, have to have a license just like you used to drive a car. And if you use it wrongly, you'll lose your license. And if it's upheld, you can never work again as a cop or a store guard or a private detective. How do you get Congress to push that through? Well, you take your economic power and you call on your friends, black, white, young and old, and say, this coming Christmas, if we don't have a federal law to outlaw police brutality by law, then we call them for a nationwide boycott of Christmas and it'll start on Thanksgiving. Well, let me tell you what that means. 79% of all retail in America happens between Thanksgiving and Christmas. People stay in business all year, lose money just for Christmas, huh? Well, what happens now? Sac Fifth Avenue, Toys R Us, Sears and Roebuck, Westinghouse. They will get the bill and all they got to do is make one phone call and say, Harry, that's the senator, I want that bill pushed through in 3 days. Okay, it's an economic thing. It's that simple. But we have the power, but the system has wiped us out so bad.
Hours of power. Hours of power. Hours of power.
San Antonio, Lincoln 6. Go ahead. Clear suspect gap 10-4. That's 10-4. The officer's code 4. We have one suspect that's been shot.
Open your mind.